So
we're live.
Yes, we are live, baby. And then.
Don't live.
Well, yeah, we'll be live here very soon. Just give me. Wait, hold on. Okay, the mic is way over here. Sorry, gotta move the mic.
Make it right.
Yeah.
Make it do its job. That thing's useless. So this thing's useful.
The keyboard doesn't even work. And there you go.
Now it seems useful.
There
I like it being where it sounds me.
Okay. And then I go press the copy. Oh no, the dog's froken.
Sad. Froken about what?
I don't know. Oh, probably an Amazon dude dropping something off. That's fine. We're at the beginning. We're not actually into the thick of it yet, so she can do her barking thing. Oh, Discord, right? Discord. Goes to Discord.
Does it though?
That's the wrong one. This Discord. Not the video games one. I'm gonna go to the general channel since we're streaming.
Sure.
Paste. At.
That's all the barks?
Everyone.
That was a good number of barks.
She did it. She protected us.
I appreciate it.
Okay, that's what they asked me to do, is start doing it that way. We should have a channel for saying when we go live, but it's fine.
Oh, you have one for when we do.
What? Oh, magic?
No self-promotion.
Oh, self-promotion. Yeah. It's like, I don't really want to use the self-promotion for our stuff.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Okay. So the first card has to change already.
This card changed? Oh, yeah, because it was broken, wasn't it? You had it at 1 mana.
I just made it
for 2?
Very simple.
Like
very simple change.
It's fine.
Let's see. This card didn't change. This card didn't change.
There's a lot of not changes. Are you just going to click real fast?
No, I'm going to go out of it. And
I was going to say, just find where changes are.
Yeah. So that's the first one. There's not a lot. There's a couple, but your recommendations really hit home, bro.
Yeah.
We did just revert this.
Oh yeah.
And it kept the only letting you do creatures so that it can't protect your enchantments and artifacts because it's gonna feel real bad when you side in your disenchant and they play this and you can't even kill their equipment or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's gonna feel really bad. I don't want that. I just want it to do the thing it's already broken at and not extra stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm doing it like that. Okay. This guy.
This guy.
You can't see because this is in the way because of the way slideshows work. But this guy was incorrect. Every single other in this cycle had whenever you cast a spirit spell or reveal a spirit card.
He
was the only one who
didn't get it when you revealed.
So
it was
I just buffed him technically.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
My rating on him or whatever would still probably be the same.
Yeah, because he's still pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Let's see what else is there that changed. Not a ton. Just want to make sure. Oh, yeah, here it is. Here's the mechanic. The quote-unquote mechanic.
All right.
I did this instead. Originally, the second version was a 3/4.
And that was it, yeah.
This is one of the only ones that... So, there's a couple of Soul Shift dudes that I reverted back to their old power and toughness and did something like this instead.
And this one still got another extra
This one got an extra toughness because it was a little bit
2/3,
weak.
gosh.
At 5 mana, it's too weak.
Okay, yep.
So I went with this.
Let me think about what I feel about this. I don't even...
Not all of them got it this way. Some of them are fine the way they were, the changes I made to them. But it was just some green and some white Soul Shifts that got this. That's new.
I think this card is still pretty weak. Still really weak, actually. But, I like it.
I like this version of doing it better because what it's doing is it lets you keep that high mana cost so that your Soul Shift chains work the way they're supposed to.
Yeah.
But this card isn't dummy expensive for a shitty
card. Giving Soul Shift on something that gets cheaper is really sweet, actually.
That's what I want to do. There are 3 in white and 3 in green that got them. So not all of them, just a certain number that I felt would work better that way. And this one got to an extra toughness too because it was an awkward card.
Yeah, I like this.
Let's see. What else?
You still aren't playing it until turn 4, but still.
Exactly. Yeah. Unless you turbo it out somehow.
Also gets cheaper and went down to a 3/2 flying for strike. I think this card
that took away the vigilance and just was like, no, this actually works way better.
I think this card is only a little bit stronger than that other one, but enough that it's just like,
because the first strike's really strong.
Yeah.
And then I told you this.
3-power flyers are always really useful.
Yeah, and then over the phone or over text, I showed you this change. I thought making a card that works well with the set is more important to me.
I don't think this card's that strong. I think
it's just good.
It's just good, yeah.
Not super strong, but I think what's good about it is you don't have to attack with it.
Right. That's why I like it. That's why I like it. I think this card is probably
decent.
I'm trying to think about
it triggers all your honor stuff.
This isn't an auto first pick, but this could be first pick. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So another thing. So I told you I didn't change a lot. of cards, but there were some in other colors that were like this that I did change. That I thought about it for a bit, and I was like,
card was made for
what it's
constructed.
doing is it's just not doing anything in this format.
Yeah.
It's not like Ghostly Prison or Reverence or whatever, where they're fitting into weird niche decks that you rarely play, but you will sometimes. It's
doing
more like
something
this doing
completely
this is
useless.
doing nothing. So I was like, okay, we're gonna do this with this card.
Yeah.
I think that's almost everything. Just checking anyway, though. Oh, I changed the way the Myojins work using the new commander card text because I think it's actually easier, simpler, and more interesting.
I'm going to read this. Sorry. Comes to play if you played it from your hand. And if you cast it from your hand.
Just indestructible counter instead of divinity counter.
Oh, sure.
Yep, just formatting change. That's it.
Okay.
And that which was taken now also does indestructible counters instead of divinity counters, but it also has the text that when it leaves the battlefield, you take off all the divinity.
Okay,
counters.
good. So I was about to say.
Yep, because I know how it works. I
still want it to not be indestructible if that which was taken is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is this a blank one?
There's a blank one. You just removed cards from the set, obviously.
No, it didn't.
These weren't blank last time, Johnny.
Hey, what's up, D. Walter? Okay, so hold on. We're doing an intermediary thing before we start actually getting into the rest of the cards. It really makes me want to look though.
Just see what in the file these
so-
would be because
so-
are they in alphabetical?
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Well,
can
I'll
just
just go
see-
to this file. For
Yeah, so I was gonna say go to that file and see what happened, what comes after.
Okay, so this is the wrong one. I need the where's the folder at? Redesigned right here. Redesigned. Okay, so we're gonna go to patron of the Minazumi. So patron.
Not of the Nizumi, but of the.
Well, of the
Kitsune.
Kitsune, whatever. Patron. Yeah. So the next card would be Pious Kitsune,
That's not on there. Why not?
and the next thing would be Plow through the Reito, then Presence of the Wise.
So those three are just missing in this. for
I
some
didn't
reason.
press any deleting. Hold on, I'm actually gonna refresh this, see if that helps.
Well, slide 93 is what we're looking at.
Yeah, that's really weird. I didn't press like the delete button or nothing anywhere, so it had to just like fucked itself up, I guess.
Maybe. I don't know.
One of those I
change any of
changed.
this. Did you? Oh,
yeah,
dang.
Presence of the Wise. There it is. This is
Okay.
the one that I changed. Of those.
It just landed on Presence of the Wise.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
funny.
So I did a -1 mana cost, like you said, because I thought that.
Oh yeah,
actually
because
would play
for
way
4 mana
better.
it was just kind of super weak. Yeah, I like this card a lot.
I'll wait for it to load so I don't lose any more cards. Damn, son. Hey, what's up? Oh, hey, we got a bot already too. What's good, D. Walter? So, I don't know if you watched or missed the last one that we did. We were just going over some of the changes I've made since we did that, just because Nate made some good suggestions, and so I wanted to keep that going.
So we got a bot.
Oh, yeah, this right here is a bot.
Why is it a bot?
Because that's the thing they do, is like, I don't know what it's doing, though, honestly.
Doesn't it say Ver Life?
What is Verlife, though? Can you...
This gives you life.
Oh, good call. No, it's a bot.
person.
It's a bot. No, it's not. It's VUR dot and then space and then life. That's, I don't know. It's just a thing they do. It's what the bots do. That's what I think it does. It happens a lot. It's really common. Turn this into 1 and a white instead of white.
Watch Irving just respond and be like, "Wow, you called me a
Oh,
bot."
sorry, Irvin. I don't think Irvin's there anymore, bud. Oh yeah, sorry. Did this just to 1 and a white. This one's fine at 1
Didn't
and
you
a
already
white.
do this? Oh, 1 and a white. We changed it to 1 and a white.
Yep.
I like that. I like changing a lot of those. Did you change the hand as well?
Nope.
Okay.
Because it's got a protection, which is strong, very, very strong,
Sure.
and it mirrors the other one. They're both just going to be it mirrors knights is what they're supposed to mirror, like white knight and black knight. That was what they were.
Yeah, I know.
So
That's fine.
this one got the so
costing less.
I went down
Vigilance
to
3/3. Soul Shift 4. This card's good. This
Yeah.
card's just good, actually.
yeah, I agree.
Not amazing. Like,
Which is
it's
great
still,
because
still
it was
filler, but
it was the worst Soul Shift card originally, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Well, in this version of the set, maybe
Yeah.
the original was fine, and I turned it into a pretty good one actually.
Yeah.
All right, so that's everything. Oh, hey, D. Walter, the VOD for it is on the channel. You can just watch it if you want to at some point. It is pretty long. It goes over all the mechanics and all of the white cards, but some of the white cards have changed, which we just showed. Just me showing Nate what I changed.
if you want to like skip through it or watch the whole thing, either way.
Yeah, you can always come back and watch this later. You don't need to watch it while it's live. We're just recording it this way. But you can always just go back to our channel and then find the VOD, because I'm gonna leave it up. I'm not gonna put it into that folder or anything like that. Yep. I'm gonna leave it up and you can just watch it. It's there, all the content. All right, blue cards. Let's start the slideshow.
And get it
going.
Get it go.
Do it be going. Wait, why am I dropping? Because changes. It's not the CPU that's making me drop. It's changing screens. I'll wait for it.
I believe in it.
I'll wait. Yeah, dude. This is a lot of fun to do these. Okay.
I don't believe you, Johnny. It's dropped.
It's not. Why are we dropping all these frames? Yeah, it's looking over here. Looks fine now. Nope, there it goes. Dropping all those frames. Look at all these frames it's losing. It did this last time where it like had really bad frames. All right. Well, I mean, you're gonna miss. You're gonna. I mean,
I don't like that.
What, the frames losing?
Because is it gonna lose audio as well or no?
No, well, no. It usually doesn't lose any audio at all when this happens. But now this looks like the stream dropped. Hold on, give me a second. This has happened before. It'll be okay. Just gotta wait for it to figure its crap out.
I don't know.
Okay, let's see. Are we good? Is everyone good? The stream looks frozen. We did just lose 1,000,000 frames. I'll wait. I'll wait. No, I'll wait. No, I'll wait for you, stream. I'll wait. Okay, looks good.
You say so.
All right, we're good. Now we're starting with blue, so you missed all of white, but that's okay, D. Walter. I understand you were looking forward to this. Also, that previous video, like I said, has all the explanations of all the mechanical changes, all of the theme changes, all the big stuff. Yeah. So now we're just going right into the cards. So, blue cards.
Sure.
Blue cards. Son of a bitch. There we go. All right, so first card we're looking at. So how we're going to do this is what we did before. We're going to read the old card. Nate's going to talk about how he feels about it in its limited format and overall, and then we're going to go to the redesign of the card. He's going to read out that one out loud, and then he's going to talk about it, and I'm going to talk about the philosophy behind redesigning it the way that I did. So start with this one. First one is Aura of Dominion. It is blue for an enchantment aura. It says enchant creature is the old wording, and that creature you can pay 1, tap an untapped creature you control to untap the enchanted creature.
Unplayable.
Unplayable. This card's trash. It's so bad. I mean, it's very specific what it's saying, and you have to invest a lot. Like, tap a dude and a mana to only untap the creature that this is attached to. You can't even use it as, like, removal to, like, tap someone else's creature by putting it on it.
Even if it had a combo that was cool for it, it would cost you creatures and mana to do it.
It's just too much.
It's just
if it was one or the other, this would be a pretty interesting combo card.
If it had combos.
Yeah, if it had combos at the same time. Yeah. So anyway, the redesign.
Yeah, 1 blue, enchant creature, enchantment aura. Enchanted creature doesn't untap in its controller's untap step. And then 1 and a blue, return aura of Dominion to its owner's hand. So it's like a pseudo removal spell for 3 mana. It does a Cage of Hands effect. Because Cage of Hands is earlier we showed in the white is a pacifism that you can return to your hand and put it back on stuff. This is a claustrophobia that you can return and put back on stuff. But the problem with this one is that it doesn't have the claustrophobia effect of entering the battlefield to tap something. Mm-hmm. It's very common on these effects, but not always there. Usually this kind of card, if it didn't have the return effect to your hand, would cost 2 mana. Mm-hmm. And this one costing 3 seems pretty reasonable as an upgrade. But it being double blue in addition, I think this card would be a low play rate. It would be something you pick really late and only play if you're really low on removal. I
subscribe to the philosophy that blue removal should be bad.
Yeah.
It should be pretty bad. And should require you to do things in certain situations. So, for example, you got to play this on a creature that's already tapped for it to work.
Yeah.
They have, in a couple sets, made blue removal that's just really good, and I don't like that. I believe blue should be really bad at removal because it's really good at card draw, and it's got some really cool tricks nowadays, like really good at evasive blockers that hit hard, really good at...
I think somebody's calling me.
Yeah, I think someone's calling you. Here, just go ahead and take care of it. No, you're good. But I don't believe that they should have good removal. It shouldn't be cheap. It should be... They should have it, though. I believe every color should have removal, but some colors should be much worse at it than others. Something that you'll see like in older Magic is that one color that just never gets removal is green. Green never has removal in older sets at all. Even blue will sometimes get cards like my redesign of Aura Dominion. They'll get tapping stuff, and green will get nothing. And they learned that makes for really unfun green in limited formats. So that's why they started using the fight mechanic, or what we call the bite mechanic, where it's a one-sided fight where it just deals damage equal to its power to target creature. they started using those a lot more because while they're situational, they require you to have a creature, and that creature needs to be bigger than the creature you're targeting. And if you want to not get 2-for-1 with the fight spells, your creature needs to have more toughness than their power too. But those are still removal spells, and this is very similar, where it needs you to be doing something for it to be, or it needs some condition to be met for it to actually be a removal spell, but it'll still be one. And I subscribe to that philosophy.
It was my dentist. They were
cool.
like, hey, you're still going to be there Monday? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Hey, dentist, they got a dent. Anyway.
Go.
Next. Sorry, next. Okay. Azami Lady of Scrolls is 2 blue for a legendary creature, human wizard, 0/2. It has tap and untap wizard you control, draw a card.
Oh, this card was really good in Limited, actually. Usually, Limiteds that have cards like this, they need to be really high value and at least provide some kind of board presence, or they need to be cheaper. Mm-hmm. But in this Limited, it was super freaking slow. This card just gained you so much value so much of the time. This
is on the short list of famous cards from the set, but this is more famous for Commander, or for people who actually played back then, for Standard and for that, because it just did a lot.
It's such a cool card, honestly.
I kept it exactly the same.
Oh, interesting. I didn't expect
I think
that.
it'll do...
As a 0/2, I didn't expect as many things.
Yeah, it's much weaker.
I thought you might make it like a 2/2 or something.
I thought about changing it, but I thought that actually because it would still... Even though it's more flimsy this way, it's still as good, and you can still get wizards to make it better.
I don't quite remember how many wizards are in this format, so we're going to see.
Blue has a ton, and I don't think there are anywhere else.
Okay, so this card could be good. I don't expect it to be, but you could obviously build a deck where this is great. So just a blue control deck that has a lot of removal in it, and you'd be all right with this.
Yep. Like I said, I think that makes it interesting that I can keep it the same and have it still be playable, but probably not as good as it used to be.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. All right, next one is Callus Deceiver, which is 2 and a blue for a 1/3 creature spirit. You can pay 1 to look at the top card of your library, or pay 2 to reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land, Callus Deceiver gets +1/+1 and gains flying until end of turn. You can only use it once per turn. This is part of a cycle from the old sets, and they all looked kind of like this. They were, creatures of their colors. You could pay 1 to look at your top and pay 2 to reveal it to get a bonus if it was a land. I don't know.
This card was whatever. It was it was a flyer. Flyers were just really good in this format.
You needed them. You had to have them in blue.
You played this. It wasn't one of your good ones, but you played it.
This is probably one of your worst flyers, actually. Yeah.
Callus Deceiver now is a 2 and a blue, 2/3 spirit that says you may look at the top card of your library at any time, which is what he's changed all of these deceivers to do.
Yep.
And 2, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a spirit, Callus Deceiver gets +1/+1 and gains flying until on a turn. This one's a fair amount better. But obviously, the 1 mana not being there, having to be there anymore, and being able to just make plans based on what your next card is going to be anyways is really useful. I like this card a lot. It's a really good filler, I think.
Yeah, and I think just want to mention, this was mentioned in the previous video, but it changed from caring about whether it's a land to caring about whether it's a spirit. And that's not only just to play into the spirit's theme, but also because there's a lot of cards that I have changed to have their text say, whenever you cast a spirit spell or reveal a spirit card, and this works with them, and you can multi-trigger, machine gun the ability.
I was going to say, the old ones could only do once per turn. This one you can do a million times.
You can do as many times as you want.
Kind of like Fireball.
It's 2 mana. I felt like you making this an actual powerful threat is interesting. Makes for the game to be more interesting to play.
I'd love to play this card.
Yep, it'd be very powerful. All right, next one. Kalo Jushi. It's one of the flip cards, and it's a 1 blue for a 2/2 that whenever you cast a spirit or arcane spell, you may put a key counter on it, and then at the end of your turn, or at the end of turn, if there are 2 or more key counters on it, you may flip it into Jiraku, the Interloper, which it's a 3/4 legendary spirit, a legendary creature spirit, can't even talk, that lets you remove a key counter that was on it from the previous one to counter target spell unless the controller pays 2.
This is going to get into some problems I have with these kinds of cards in general. Having a card in play that says, hey, do something and you can counter a spell, maybe, is so rough for gameplay. It makes your opponent just not cast spells unless they have enough mana to pay for it ever, which is really weird to me. I don't really like that, because it says you're going to counter a spell, but you pretty much never do.
True.
It never happens. It doesn't do that.
Okay, good to know.
I don't like cards that do that. This card now is a 1 blue, 2/3 human wizard. Human wizard. All right, we got to be a wizard. Okay. Wizard. You tap for drawing cards.
Sorry about the nerfed art. Don't know what to tell you.
Whenever you cast a spirit spell or reveal a spirit card, put a counter on it. key counter. And then at the beginning of your end step, if there are 2 more key counters on it, you may transform it. I didn't have anything to say about that card in Limited because I just don't remember it.
I got nothing on it.
Yeah.
It's probably okay. It was probably decent. You know, it's a 3/4 for 3.
That requires steps.
Makes them really care about your mana. Now you got me thinking.
Yeah, and you got to remove a key counter to make it counter unless I pay 3, so it got better, which is even more annoying.
Yeah, I think that this is... I might redesign it.
Yeah.
This one. I don't actually want to redesign the other one that you have this problem with.
I hate that card.
You know, it's just...
I understand.
You know why I don't want to.
Yes, I understand. I still hate it.
Yeah. Fair enough. Hey, I respect that.
Yeah.
This one I might change then, just based off that.
They don't do this effect very often because of that anymore.
What I didn't think about, and I knew that was true, but I thought I would keep it because of the old feel, and I wanted to keep some of those in there. But the way you described the gameplay with it, I actually think I would want to change it because if you're not actually using the ability, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I do not like it.
That's going to be the case with the other card too.
Yeah, that's true, but that one maybe
requires you to keep mana out.
Yeah, and I like the channel on it.
Yeah, I like the channel.
Channel counter spell. It's like, what do you put on the first text if you?
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Anyway. So this card will probably be changed.
Yeah, I'm just not going to worry about it.
I'm going to let people know about that. I won't go over these changes in videos like this.
Unless we have another video somehow.
But if you go to the Cubecobra, it's always updated to my most recent updates.
We are dropping still.
We are dropping still. No, it doesn't look like it. Those are just been there.
Old ones? Okay.
Yeah, we look good. Okay. Hey, D. Walter, if you're still watching, does the stream look okay? Does it look all right? Is the audio all right?
All right.
And we'll just keep going.
Yep.
All right. This one's one of my favorites. All right. So this is the old version is Chisei, Heart of the Oceans, 2 blue for a 4/4 flying.
Whoa!
Legendary creature spirit. Back in the day, that was big. Nowadays, that's nothing. That's chump
huge
change.
at the time.
There's always bonus abilities, but he did not have a bonus ability for a 4/4 flyer. Beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice him unless you remove a counter from a permanent you control. Worst part about this is there were not very many cards that made counters in this block.
Not enough. There were the key counters mostly.
There were key counters on some things.
The Bakus.
And this was in the set that had the key counters on a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
So you had the Bakus, you had the flip dudes, and you had the artifacts that did that. It was okay, but this card was
not the shrines though. What are they called? The ones that like they get counters when you cast a spell of their color. Isn't that from this set?
No, that's from Mirrodin. Those cards were good.
My brain's dumb.
Those cards were good.
All right, cool.
Yep. Okay. Thank you very much, D. Walter. Okay. So this card, you tell me about it, but it was probably bad.
I also don't remember this. This is a rare.
Yes.
That's why. And I've never played this card.
Yeah, it seems bad. All right, thank you. Good, thank you. I need someone in my corner.
I actually kind of think this might be a good finisher, but I have no idea.
If you can keep it alive 2 turns,
yeah, 2 turns,
probably
smack
good
up
enough.
to the dead.
So you need 2 counters somewhere that you can remove.
It blocks well on the first turn.
It's not specific, by the way, though. You could remove plus and counters, and there was plenty of that in this back in the day. So
I don't know if there was in this set though.
Green is the color that had plus and counters. I think there was a couple there's an Indebted Samurai and stuff like that. There was a couple colors that had a couple here and there, but not very many.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was mostly key counters you're probably removing. So anyway, my new version I really like a lot.
Okay. New, it's 1 blue and a red for a 2/2 flying. The first splice ability you activate each turn costs 0 to activate. I think this card is super sweet and probably pretty dang good, largely because it's just on a Windrake, and Windrakes, although they're a lot worse than they used to be, are still playable.
Yeah.
Like, you'd play a Windrake... You play a Windrake with like minimal upside at all, so you just put this in your deck if you have at least a couple splices. If you have 0 splices, you're probably not going to play it. Right. That's fine. But
Windrakes aren't worth 2 different colors. You know?
No, exactly. But I like this card. Well, it might be worth it if you have enough ninjutsu and stuff. But usually you're looking to splice with this card. Obviously,
yeah,
it's pretty clear. And I like this card a lot.
I thought it was really fun, really cool design.
I don't think it's extremely powerful.
Doesn't
obviously.
Need to be. You gotta have cards in hand. You have to have 2 instants and sorceries, and one of them needs splice.
At least one of them has to have splice. And it's a spirit though. That's nice.
Yeah.
Obviously, because it's splicing.
Yep.
I don't know. This. I'm trying to think about how powerful this is, and I don't know.
Hey, what's up, Austin? Austin's in the stream now.
Sweet. I think this would not be very high pick, but the thing is about it is like you can know you're gonna get it. It's a multicolored card, right. So you know you're gonna wheel it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like most of the time.
So you're gonna probably get it if you're doing this.
If you want to be this, yeah,
really cool card.
It's nice.
So Austin, I'll explain what we're doing real quick. What I'm doing is this is the first on the left side is an old card from the original Kamigawa Magic sets. There's a whole block of them, 617 cards, and it was notoriously not a very good set.
Yeah,
but I decided that I wanted to redesign every single one of the cards so it would be fun to play them together because, and this is key, the designs of the old set were very interesting. They were not good, and there was a lot of flaws, but there was some really cool stuff going on, and it inspired me to do these redesigns.
And a large part of it also, like why we're talking about it specifically now, because he's been working on this a long time.
Oh yeah, for like a year.
Is because there is a new Kamigawa set coming out, so it's in the same
Neon
setting
Dynasty.
as these cards, but it's very different.
What a more perfect time than to talk about it.
Exactly.
That was not how grammar works. But anyway, all right. So
Sure
this
is.
card, great, will be very fun to play with. Next card, Cloudhoof Kieran, 3 blue for a 4/4 flying legendary creature, Kieran Spirit. This is a cycle of cards. They all are very similar. They are flying creatures that whenever you cast a spirit or arcane spell, do something based on the converted mana cost of it. So this one was, whenever you play a spirit or arcane spell, you may put the top X cards of target player's library into his or her graveyard, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. So you just mill them a bunch based on the mana costs of your spirit and arcane spells.
Well, this card was busted.
Yeah.
Like, it's a 5 mana 4/4 flying, which is already, like, good. Like, quite good. Air Elemental was, like, really good at the time. But then also, because the games go really long in this format, you just mill them, like, 10 cards, and you might win that way.
You're just going to win that way. So this card's a super good finisher.
Yeah. Now it is a 2 blue, 3/3 flying, which he's made all the Kieran Spirits that now, that says, whenever you cast a spirit spell, target player mills X cards where X is that card's mana value. So it's the same.
Very similar, yeah.
Hits spirits, which is the same as Spirit and Arcane before.
In this set, yeah.
We changed
so
Arcanes
the
to
text
spirits.
is almost exactly the same technically.
But it is, instead of a 5 mana 4/4 flyer, it is a 4 mana 3/3 flyer. I think this card's weaker than it used to be, which is good.
Dies to more removal, yep.
Yep. 4 mana 3/3 flyer is fine. It's good. It's acceptable in this format, I think. I think you picked this pretty early, but it's not like an auto pick at all.
It is definitely a finisher.
Yeah.
Definitely good at finishing the game if you got enough spells to hit it with. So I thought reducing, getting one of the reduces, because I did put them all to 4 mana 3/3 flyers, but it being one that got the reduction in cost, I think is important too. It makes it easier to kill, but also lets you start doing its thing earlier.
We haven't seen black or green yet, so I don't know how much you're doing stuff with your own graveyard in this format, but if you are, it could also be used that way.
Could be used that way, yep. Black does.
Okay, cool.
Nothing else does, but, well, Soul Shift.
So, we have Soul Shift.
Soul Shift,
Man,
yeah.
I'm dumb. Yeah,
All
this
right.
could be used for ourselves then.
Alrighty. So I like it. I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah,
I'm
for
glad
sure.
it's easier to kill, but it's also more powerful. Or just a powerful ability. Alright. Next card is Consuming Vortex. It's 1 and a blue for an instant arcane that lets you return target creature to its owner's hand and has Splice on 2 arcane for 3 and a blue.
Removal was weird at the time. Because blue removal was relatively weak, this card was playable. Especially if you had Splice and arcane stuff going on. Like,
It's a
splicing
very
was
expensive
fine.
Splice, though.
I mean, so much of Splice was expensive, honestly. This was a fine card. You didn't want to play it, but you often did.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I expected you to do.
Yeah.
Instead of saying creature on it, it now says non-land permanent, turning it into a disperse of sorts. It's 1 and a blue, tribal instant spirit, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, splice into instant or sorcery, 3 and a blue. I like this card. Very expensive now. Splice onto instant or sorcery, but like
That's because repeating that effect, I believe, would be very frustrating.
Yeah, for sure. I still like this card, and I still don't want to play this card.
Right. Austin says, very nice. You are making it the card vaguely the same, but way better to play. Yep. Yeah. So I want to keep the spirit, pun intended, of the cards so that they'll feel like you're playing Kamigawa, but make them way better to draft together.
More
fun, more interesting, stronger. And you're only going to play these together. You're not going to play them with other cards in Magic.
Right.
You just play them in a draft format together, so that's the way they've been designed.
Yep.
Alrighty. Next card is Council of Soratami, the original Divination. 2 and a blue, sorcery, draw 2 cards.
You even said it right. You said divination. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I know. I'm learning.
Okay, yeah, this card was good. This card, divination, is good about a third of the time to a quarter of the time in limited, and this was one of the limiteds where it's good. So,
Back in its day, it was always good.
yeah.
Getting 2 cards, incredible.
Yeah.
We didn't change it.
Yeah, it's good.
It's great. We
I'm
love
down.
it. I originally had turned it into a spirit and then realized flavor-wise that makes no fucking sense.
No sense. These are
it's the
movable.
Soratami.
Yeah.
Soratami are mortals. They're against the spirits.
Yeah. I think this card will be a lot worse this time around, but maybe it's still playable. I don't know.
It's also it's a sorcery, and you can splice onto it, though, still.
True.
So it's fine.
Yeah, that's true.
Didn't need to be a spirit, really. All right, next one is Cut the Earthly Bond, blue, instant, arcane, return target enchanted permanent to its owner's hand.
This card's unplayable.
It does nothing.
It does 0 things the vast majority of the time.
It's very specific on what it's asking you to do. It needs to be a permanent that has an aura on it. Otherwise, it's doing 0 things, which means most of the time it's doing 0 things.
So if this card could be cast without a target or something like that and just do 0 things and you can cast it, it would be better because then you could splice onto it because it's arcane. But it doesn't even do that.
Yeah, it's just nonsense. It's a nonsense card. And these are the very important cards we are changing to do something.
Because there are a lot of these nonsense cards in the format.
Yep.
It's sad. So now it's blue, sweep, As you cast the spell, you can return up to 2 permanent. You can return 2 permanents you control to their owner's hand. If you do, copy the spell and choose new targets for the copy. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Yep. And it's a tribal instant spirit. So it is a unsummon, which unsummons are usually useful, quite useful in limited actually. Yep. For 1 mana, having an interaction that either gets rid of gets rid of a blocker, gets rid of a scary attacker, really hurts tempo wise for your opponent half the time,
saves
or
one of your creatures.
You can save one of your creatures. Yeah, it's very versatile. It's very powerful for 1 mana, and this one you can do something else with it. You can return your own permanents with the sweet part of it instead of the blue part of it,
and return
theirs with the other side. Or you can return all yours if you need to for whatever reason. Like they're gonna do a board wipe, you're like, get 4 of my guys back.
4 of my guys back. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's fine. I like this card. I think it'll probably be pretty good. Your blue decks will want to have them. Will want to have one. Your blue decks are gonna want to have one, so you'll pick this like medium.
Yep. Seems really good. It's cheap. That's also very important. You got to remember when you're powering up your formats, cheap interaction matters a lot. Mm-hmm. All right, next one is Cut the Tethers. 2 blue for a sorcery. For each spirit, return it to its owner's hand unless that player pays 3.
Board card in the format at the time. It was very playable. It feels kind of like a sleep effect.
Yeah.
Which sleep effects are some of my favorite things to do in limited.
And about, I don't know if it's half. I think it's a little bit less than half of the creatures are spirits. So
yeah, I think it's less than half, but yeah. It's a lot. So you can like board wipe your opponent, or you can half board wipe your opponent depending on what they're playing, or do nothing. That's why it's a board card, because sometimes it does nothing. Yep. This is another example of kinds of cards that we don't care for from this set that often do nothing.
They are like either hit spirits or hit non-spirits. Most of those I don't like and I change.
There's some that are good. They have to be really cheap and really powerful, but
yeah, and you'll see some of those. So we changed it to
2 blue sorcery. Return each creature to its owner's hand unless its controller pays 3. So instead of just doing it for spirits, we did it for everything.
Yep.
Which still hits us obviously.
Yep.
But I don't know if I like this card. I really have never played with a card like this, so I really don't know anything to say about it. We're usually not going to be able to play for our own, and they're usually not going to be able to play for theirs, but sometimes they will be able to. So I think this is probably a bad, like a low playable card. I think it got worse, actually.
The way that you're braining through it, you know what I mean, is the reason why I wanted to do this, because I know they don't do this very much anymore, but I was very interested to see how it plays. I'm interested because I think this is only good if you're like, I do want to return my creatures.
Okay, sure. Yeah, that's true. If you have a lot of cheap ETBs, this could be good.
Or if your opponent has a bunch of tokens, it could be okay.
Oh yeah, returning tokens.
I don't think it's as good as 4 mana return all creatures to their owner's hands. It's really not that.
It's not that.
But
because they could pay 3 mana to keep their good one in play. What's up?
Have I ever made my own mechanics for MTG cards?
We did in this set a lot.
There's a bunch of it in this set, and I've also done a lot of designing like my own Magic stuff, and I've made a lot of mechanics. For example, in this set, you saw Sweep earlier on the previous card, right? Yeah, Sweep. I designed that. There was a mechanic called Sweep, but it did not do what this is, and that's the mechanic that I designed.
Yeah, I like Sweep in this set a lot. I think this card will not be playable, but I'm not certain.
Hey,
you know?
that's why I was like, I really like this one as one of those types.
Yeah,
of
it's very interesting.
It's interesting, and I think it's okay if I have cards that are unplayable, but you only find out by playing.
Also, if you're low on creatures, this could be a good card.
That's true.
If you're really low on creatures, this could be
just play it when you know it's going to bounce all their shit.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
They tap out for the big bomb, and you just
put
kill
it back with all their other stuff.
Yeah, you just kill everything or throw everything back. All right.
Yeah.
So Dampen Thought is 1 in a blue for an instant arcane. Target player mills 4, splice an arcane 1 in a blue.
This was one of the best uncommons in the set.
Yeah, surprisingly, it's so good that they brought it back in Modern Masters because repeatable mill in limited is really strong.
It's unreal, actually. So, like, obviously this set was also super slow. We talked about
so you'll have the mana to do it a lot.
You'll have the mana to do it a lot, and they'll be drawing their own cards out of their library quite a lot. So milling 4 means more because it gets them closer to having 0 cards.
Yep.
So they die off of it really fast. This card was insane.
Yep. Which is why we didn't change it.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I think it gets a lot worse in this set. Totally. That's okay.
But it's like,
insane.
You've seen that I wanted a mill deck to be possible.
Yeah, it looks like it's there. It looks like you can do it. Instead of the old time where you just needed a Dampen Thought to mill your opponent out, you'll need a couple things, I think.
The aggression is stronger, so you will not have as much time to just sit around Dampen Thoughting your opponent.
Yeah, I like this.
Yep. So it's
also a sorcery instead of an instant. That's notable.
Yes, I did do that on purpose. So, I did look at some cards. They had too many instants in this block that could have been sorceries, so I changed them to sorceries. All the ones that did not need to be instants.
Yeah, this doesn't look like it has any use being an instant, really. Yep. Oh, no, that's not true. Tribal Instant Spirit lets you do cool weird splice things.
That's true.
Which I think means powering this card down to a sorcery might be reasonable. I don't know.
I think we're good here on this, though, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
a lot of the defensive creatures got good at being defensive in blue specifically, so that they would have options to keep the game slow, and that is something that the blue deck will use. It's made for the big hands deck, but it's like the mill deck will also use them because they gotta survive.
I do like that there is a difference in the dynamic here from what I'm used to, because you cannot keep this plan up with a counterspell anymore.
You're gonna have to do it
or
splice it,
or have enough mana to do both. Yeah.
The thing is though, if you have 5 mana, you can counterspell splice.
True.
It doesn't matter.
So that's what you need to do, is you want to have that much mana, and you won't be able to just leave up your sorcery or whatever of other things.
Okay, so Austin, we actually did all of the mechanics and their definitions in the previous video, which is on the YouTube channel.
Yep.
You can just go to it. It's the previous stream. It's on there in the list of uploads.
It has listed after the bar. It says overview and white cards.
Yeah, it says overview and white cards, and the overview is when we go over the mechanics. So you don't have to stay in the stream. You can go watch that instead, so you kind of have it going. But we're already like in the middle of it, so we're just gonna keep going.
Yep.
We don't mind if you leave. This is us pretty much recording it, but I like to talk
and you
to
can watch
live.
this another time because we'll have this on.
I'm gonna leave all the VODs up for this Magic stuff because it's essentially like video content.
Yep.
It's not like the other streams. So, all right, we'll move on. Love that this exists and this will be a thing you can do.
Yeah.
All right, next one is Descendant of Soramaro. 3 and a blue, 2/3 creature, human wizard, a wizard. And it has the ability you can play 1 and a blue to look at the top X cards in your library, where X is the number of cards in your hand, and put them back in any order. So you're just rearranging. It's not scry. You don't get to do anything else. What do you say?
This card's bad.
Yeah, it looks really bad. Stat line's not good, and the effect is mana to just rearrange stuff, and you have to have cards in the hand for it to work. This card's really bad.
You had it as filler in a very specific deck that wasn't good either, so it's just like...
I don't like it. I don't like this card at all.
This new one is 3 and a blue for still a 2/3. Human Wizard. Whenever Descendant of Soromaro enters the battlefield, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of cards in your hand, then put them back in any order. Then draw a card.
Yep.
So this card's great. Just because of the draw card effect, but being able to rearrange right beforehand keeps the feel of the old card whenever it enters the battlefield. It's I like this card a lot. I think this is one of there's a type of thing going on lately where you get like 4 mana 3/3s draw a card, or 3 mana 2/2s that draw a card in limited sets, and they're always high pick actually.
Yep,
like
they're
very
always
high
really
pick.
good.
They're always really good. I think this one is on par with those, but I could be wrong. It could be a little weaker.
So nowadays in limited sets, also what I've learned to value is material. How much material does each card give you?
Yeah.
And when we talk about material, we mean like in play. Like if a card just draws cards, it's not as good actually as a card that puts material in play. Which I learned this the most from the last set, because the 1-drop vampire was a 1-drop that dealt 1 damage to them and gave you a blood token. That card was insane. Insane. Because it's giving you material, and cards are really good at using material these days.
Yeah.
So a creature that draws you a card isn't just good because it replaces itself. It's good because it puts material in play and then gets you another card.
Yeah, it does both.
That's why it's good. It's not so like a 2 mana 1/1 draw a card is better than 2 mana draw 2 cards a lot of the time. Or no, sorry, I fucked up my brain. I'm gonna say a Divinations is worse than 3 mana for a 1/1 that draws a card a lot of the time in current Magic.
It depends, yeah, but yeah.
Certainly depends on the themes. But all right, so we're gonna move on. So yes, I think this redesign keeps. I thought this was a fun ability, even though it's not good. And I thought, well, I want to do a thing you don't do very often in Magic, without making a card that's just bad.
Yeah.
Which is rearrange the top based on something instead of scry, because scry is very powerful.
Right.
So it's just like, okay, well, I'll get to choose one of these to maybe be.
Yeah. I think if we scried on this, it'd be very strong, like way too
strong. That's not what I want to do.
Too strong. I wouldn't like that as much as I like this.
It would be too strong, but not in a broken way. It'd just be annoying how strong it is.
Yeah, it'd be really annoying.
We don't need that.
We don't need that.
All right. Okay. So this is. I forgot to show you Shining Shoal. But I'll explain what it is after we see this. So anyway, this is Disrupting Shoal, X blue, instant arcane. You may remove a blue card with mana value X or less from your hand, or you can exile. Man, I gotta fucking talk.
Okay.
You may remove a blue card with converted mana cost X in your hand from the game rather than pay Disrupting Shoal's mana cost. Counter target spell if its converted mana cost is X.
So the way this works is you use 2 cards in your hand, Disrupting Shoal and another blue card, to counter a spell, but it has to be the same cost as the cost of the card you're exiling from your hand along with it. Or you can just pay a whole bunch of mana and counter it with the X in the cost.
And not go down on
this card's really bad.
In limited for sure.
This card has only ever been played in very specific formats where we know how much things cost. They're always 1 or 2. you can be able to make that work every time. The most common cards are all the same cost.
Yeah.
That's when Disrupting Shoal is playable, and it's not very common.
Yep. All right, so now if you watch the last stream or the video of the last stream, you will have seen a different version, slightly, of the way I changed shoals, but the format is exactly the same. So.
Okay. Now it is 2 blue, tribal instant spirit, counter target spell, and as an alternate casting cost, you may exile a blue card in your hand as you cast Disrupting Shoal. If you do, it costs 2 and a blue less to cast. So this is huge to me because this is exactly what I wanted their new shoals to be.
Yeah, and they didn't.
And they didn't. They went with something different that is also interesting, but it's not. It doesn't feel like a shoal to me. This is 2 cards to pay 1 mana to do a spell, which is what I wanted the new ones to be. Instead of 0 mana like the old ones, we make the card better and make it cost 1 mana.
Make it to where you can't do it for free, but you can do it for super cheap.
This card is extremely strong. We've had cards like Force of Will and Force of Negation that feel like this, but are free. Be amazing in the past, and I like this card a lot for general idea. I don't know if it would be good in Limited. I feel like it would not. Counterspells are really situational.
Very interesting to find out.
Yeah.
It depends on how oppressive 2 slow strategies and big hand strategies of the aggro is, like how much it makes you change your deck, and how well you can keep a big hand. You know what I mean? We don't know.
The likelihood of you using the ultimate casting cost on this in Limited is low, I think, which is why I think it's probably a bad card, because 4 mana counterspells.
Yep. Oh yeah, totally. And I just wanted to put it. So anyway, the white one has changed. They're all 2 color now, and this text.
Okay, yeah.
And then they do an effect.
Okay.
And the white one
what
is
the effect. I forgot.
So the white one is redirect damage.
Redirect all damage from one source to something else.
To something
that
else.
card's good. That card's really good.
Yep. So now
it was going to cost 2 mana the old
way?
way?
Because it was take off the colored mana was what it was, but now it's instead take off 2 and a color.
I think that card's really good now.
Yeah, I really like that one. I think the design's more interesting and more fun.
I shouldn't say really good. I think that card's a lot better, and I like it more.
Yeah.
It's playable now, where it may not have been in the past.
Alrighty. Dreamcatcher is blue for a 1/1 creature spirit. Whenever you cast a spirit or arcane spell, you may sacrifice this. If you do, draw a card.
This card's terrible. It was a spirit trigger thing that you could also get with Soul Shift. There was a plan to do that with some stuff in that set. I can't quite remember all the combo pieces to it. It was a slow combo plan that just revolved around sitting around and waiting, and I didn't like it at all. I never played it.
The point of this card back then was you sack it every time you can, so that you always have a spirit in your graveyard to get back with Soul Shift or something else. Not super good, but you did play it for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Me neither. I don't like it either.
Okay, 1 and a blue now for a 1/3 spirit. Forecast 1 and a blue. Reveal it from your hand, then draw and discard a card. Draw and then discard a card. So it does the looting for forecast for 2 mana. I like that. And while it's in play, whenever you cast a spirit spell or reveal a spirit card, you may draw a card if you do discard a card. So it's a lot better than the old version. This card seems very strong, in my opinion. Looting is much better than it might look. You don't go up on card value, but you're always getting to get rid of your extra lands in the late game.
Or your
fine lands in the early one. Your bad cards, because you have to play filler in Limited all the time, so the cards you don't really want go away.
Find a better card. Yep.
Find your bombs really fast with this card. I don't think you want to forecast this too often, except for whenever you have spirits and arcanes in play, or spirits in play that have whenever you reveal a spirit card, do the thing.
Yep. I figured the only times you're probably forecasting it is that, or to find lands, because instead of casting it, you can try to find a land if you need your 3rd land.
Yeah, you're short on spirits anyways, so cheap ones at least. Yeah, I like this card a lot. I think this card gets played in most blue decks. It's a 1/3. That's really helpful.
Yep. All right, the next one is Eerie Procession, 2 and a blue for a sorcery arcane. Search your library for an arcane card, which is going to be only instants and sorceries, and reveal that card. Then put it into your hand. Then shuffle your library.
All right, this card was too good for the dumb reason of Dampened Thoughts.
You just find the card, the Dampened Thought.
Yeah.
And you could find removal sometimes if you really needed
it. Go get your Herobe's Whisper. This card was
only good because of
only
that.
Good for a bad reason.
It was good, because of other cards.
Yeah. Now it is 1 and a blue. Tribal Sorcery Spirit. Search your library for a spirit. Reveal it and put it in your hand. Then shuffle your library. This card got a lot better because it can hit creatures now too. But it still will hit all the arcane spells because we turned them all into spirits.
Yep.
So this will have a very different effect because I'm not sure how strong the card combos are in this set as compared to how good Dampened Thoughts was in that set. But I'm interested to see. I think this card will probably be tried no matter what. I'm gonna hope.
I've learned a lot about tutors in Limited, and I've learned that they're way worse than they look.
Yeah.
Unless you have things you're doing.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd do this.
If you're a bomb, there might be spirit bombs.
This could definitely get you your bomb, so it's worth picking. Spirit bomb.
Yeah.
That's good. It could be worth picking for that if there's a combo that that ends up. This could be good for that, which is nice. Just nice to have this kind of card. It's very interesting, and if it's not good, then it's not good, and that's okay.
The way I've gotten information on tutors as well came from mostly playing Kaldheim. There was the white tutor that could get you a snow permanent or a legendary or a saga. That card was like mostly bad, like almost always bad, almost always unplayable. But I found like 2 decks where I played it, and I played a hell of a lot of Kaldheim. But knowing that those decks exist is really nice.
I really like tutors in limited. That's the only format I like them in.
Yeah.
Because they do one of 2 things. They actually make combo decks work, which are really hard to make work in limited.
Yeah.
Which is nice. It's actually nice.
Solve the Equation was awesome.
Yeah. Or they let you run toolboxes if you have a deck that can make it worth it.
Or you get your bomb.
That's okay too, I guess.
That's the worst case scenario.
That is the worst case scenario.
I don't like that as much, but...
But I think the better answer to bombs is to make a format that can answer bombs.
Yeah.
So people just go, okay, I know there's bombs, and I have good answers, I just need to save my answers.
Make sure your bombs aren't unanswerable.
Fucking...
Coma, or whatever.
Averbrook, or whatever, Caretaker.
That card's fine.
Shut your mouth, I hate that card. I hate that card. Oh my god. Alright, next one. Arrio, Soratami Ascendant is 1 and blue for a 1/1 flying that whenever the 4th spell in a turn is played from any player, you can flip it. When you do, it becomes Arrio's Essence, a legendary enchantment that you counter the first spell played by each opponent each turn.
This card is well known for its use in EDH. I believe it is banned. I'm not certain of that.
I don't know about that.
It just unreal how much it happens whenever it counters everyone's first spell every turn. I think it is banned.
It does seem annoying, yeah.
Yeah, it's unfun as heck. I don't think you got any play unlimited. It doesn't do anything.
Yep.
You can't cast 4 spells.
You can't cast 4 spells, he says.
1 and a blue for a 1/1 now. It has flying. It still had flying.
It had flying before, yeah.
Okay. Whenever a player casts a spell, if it's the 4th spell that casts this turn, transform it. Yep. Now it says whenever opponent casts their first spell, each turn counter that spell. This is exactly the same, except for it's got the cool flip thing.
And we're playing in limited, so.
And what?
We're playing in limited, so.
So it's bad.
Yeah.
So this card's bad.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
That's great.
I don't know, it's just...
Casting 4 spells is very tough.
It seemed like the right thing to do.
I know you kept the rituals. There's some things that will let you cast 4 spells a turn.
If you play red-blue, there is a chance.
It's just so rare that it's just not worth it.
So we'll leave it in so people can
It's
try.
a 1/1 flyer, I guess, for 2. You know, that's terrible, but like,
ninjutsu.
At the same time, ninjutsu.
Yeah, let's go.
At the same time, ninjutsu. Yeah, you might play it.
Alright, next one is Eternal Dominion. It's one of the epic spells. There are 5, 1 in each color. 7 blue, 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 sorcery. Search target opponent's library for an artifact, creature, enchantment, or land card, put it into play under your control, then they shuffle their library, and it is epic, which means for the rest of the game you can't cast any more spells, but at the beginning of each of your upkeeps, you copy this spell, and you get to do it again.
Alright, so in limited, this card was actually not good, because it's 10 mana. 10 mana is just way too much. You just don't get to that point before the game's almost over. If you could cast this spell, it would always win the game. But you just can't cast that spell that often.
That's totally reasonable.
It's the same?
Yep.
Sure.
But with the new version of Epic, and the new version of Epic is you do get to still cast spells after you cast these.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't expect it to be any good in our format. I'm not sure. I know it's fun to try though, so that's cool.
That's one of the things, and it's also you pair it with all those rituals I kept in, and you play your blue-red deck. See if you can do it.
10 maybe a little earlier.
See if you can do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Or blue-green deck, because blue-green has real ramp.
Sakura Tribe Elder and stuff. Yeah.
Well, it has real ramp now. There's a bunch of cards that turned into ramp that weren't.
Okay,
ramp
sweet,
before.
sure.
So that's the blue-green theme.
There's a chance. Yeah, there's a chance you can make Eternal
So
Dominion
you're
happen.
saying there's a chance. It also says permanent card now, but that doesn't matter because there's no planeswalkers.
in this
so
set, yeah.
You're fine. All right, Evermind. Evermind has no mana cost. It is an instant arcane, so you cannot cast it from your hand. It says draw a card, lets you know that it's blue because it doesn't have a mana cost, and it has Splice and Arcane 1 and a blue.
You put it in the Dampened Thought deck sometimes, not very often because you can't cast it, which sucks, so you can't splice Dampened Thought onto it. But that's pretty much it.
But when you didn't have Dampened Thought, you could maybe find it by using this.
Yeah, it wasn't good in Limited, but you had some decks you could play it in. It wasn't good.
Yeah, but how do you feel about it?
Oh, I love this card.
Good, I'm glad. We clearly didn't change it.
We're both crazy about this card.
Yeah, I love this card so much. It's such a cool design.
This is so sweet. I think it'll be slightly better in our format, but still probably not good.
Yeah, because now you can do it anytime you cast an instant store, so if you got 2 extra mana, boom.
Now you draw a card,
and you revealed a spirit when you did it.
Right.
So that'll trigger all your reveals, your spirits.
Yeah. I guess I didn't make that clear earlier. Whenever we're splicing all the time, we want to reveal
They're
stuff
spirits
for the...
now, so they trigger all of those cards that we've shown that are whenever you cast or reveal a spirit.
Yeah, so that does make this better for sure as well. Like I said, I think this is definitely better than the old version. I think that it'll be played only in a couple of kinds of decks.
Totally, and that's it's supposed to be the blue deck that keeps a lot of cards in hand.
Yeah, that deck reasonable.
Yeah, alright. Next one is Eye of Nowhere, which is blue for a sorcery arcane. Return target permanent to its owner's hand.
This hitting lands was super annoying. It was great in the Dampened Thought deck because it like slowed your opponent down more than it needed to, and then you also just like splice the Dampened Thought. Hey, what's up?
Yep.
Yeah, this is a good card. Yeah, it's a good card.
Yep, kept it the same. It works.
I'm surprised you kept the permanent, but also it would be too similar to the other one if you didn't.
I thought I'd just make it interesting in that way.
It's fine.
It's fine. Yep.
This will get play. This will get play.
Yeah, it works.
It's a sorcery, which is very notable for this kind of effect. Usually you see this kind of effect on an instant. So this cannot save stuff. This cannot do cool interactions like our 1-mana spell can. But
the trade-off is that it hits lands. Yep.
The main thing this does for us is we can splice onto this and hit something at the same time.
Yep, and if we're like a tempo deck, we care a lot about hitting lands. So, all right, next one is Field of Reality. It's 2 and a blue for an enchant creature, which is an aura. Enchanted creature can't be blocked by spirits. 1 and a blue, return it to your hand. This
card's got its uses. I remember really liking this card, but I don't actually know if it was good. I think I was worse at the game when I cast this card, so it may not have been good.
We know. Well, see, here's the thing. You love Whisper Silk Cloak.
Yeah.
So you love Unblockable.
In limited, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
This was unblockable sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it was actually good.
Boston said, "So are you making these cards to try how they work?" Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna print them off on cardstock, and we're gonna draft them. We're just gonna play with them.
Yep, we're gonna get a few people together, draft them out, and see just how good they are. We may talk about it afterwards on a stream as well. We may not.
You can look at the list by going down into the comments or into the description, and there is a link to the Google Drive with all the image files, and then there's also a link to the Cubecobra, which is a website where you can have your draft cube up, and you can test draft it there.
I'd like to talk about how, like, the highlights of our draft, like what we think the best cards that performed in our particular draft were.
I mean, if we somehow get through this fast enough, we could even just run a draft on stream.
Sure. That would just be that wouldn't let us. Yeah, that wouldn't let us play, but we could draft.
No, yeah. I think you can do test hands too with a deck you build with it. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I've never tried that. I've just done the draft. Anyway, so the new version.
Enchanted creature can't be blocked at all, and does that, and it costs. So it's 1 and a blue. Aura, enchant creature can't be blocked. 1 and a blue, return it to its owner's hand. So the returning it to its owner's hand is a lot worse on this version than the old ones, because getting a creature you want to switch this to is less likely. I feel like, unless for some reason you're playing this on an idiot early game. You can, though, go to attacks with a creature with Field of Reality on it. Go to blocks, they can't block. In blocks, return Field of Reality to your hand, and then Ninjutsu.
Yep, you can do that.
So that's an option. It costs a lot of mana, though.
True, yeah, it's a mana intensive. And
I think that's the main use of Field of Reality.
Yeah, or they go for removal on the creature, and you just take your Field of Reality back.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a few uses for the return on Field of Reality. They're rare. I think this card's very fun, and I would love to play a deck with it. I think it's going to be low pick rate, though.
Oh, yeah. These cards are usually low pick rate, but they do work when
they really do their job.
Yeah, they really do their job.
Because also, you can just put this on a 6/6 and, like, bam, they're dead.
It's fairly cheap to make something unblockable. So.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
All right, next one is Floating Dream Zubaira, 1 and a blue for a 1/2 creature Zubaira Spirit. This is part of a cycle. There is 1 for each color, and then there's 2 extras, but they worked differently.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. And they all have text that says, when this creature dies, you get an effect for each Zubaira that's died this turn. And this one is draw a card. So when this dies, draw a card for each Zubaira that's died this turn.
This particular one was actually okay and limited, just because drawing cards is really good.
You didn't need anything else.
You could just have a 1/2 that whenever it dies, draw a card. That's fine.
Yep.
Most of the Zubairas were not good and limited. This one was fine.
Yep. The new one?
1 and a blue for a 1/2. Whenever you cast or reveal Floating Dream Zubaira, draw a card. This card is insane! Because obviously you get to draw a card right when you cast it instead of waiting for it to die. Or, which means like whenever you bring it back with a sweep effect or whatever, you do that. You have ways to return it with like ninjutsu as well. You return it, play it again, draw another card. Or you could just reveal it to some effect, like the top card of your deck with your Deceiver, or some other ways.
Or cards that reveal cards.
Revealing cards that don't reveal themselves is harder in this format,
right?
But it still happens.
They exist. There's a couple cards that do it.
Yeah, this card seems extremely strong. You pick this so fast.
Yep.
This is pick one.
This is the text that I have changed the Zubairas too, because you're not going to get more than one Zubaira. So this is not changed because I don't like the old Zubairas. I actually do.
Yeah.
I think they're fun to play.
In Constructed.
In Constructed, though. In Limited, we changed it. So I changed it to fit with all the other strategies that exist. And so all the Zubairas now say whenever you cast or reveal them.
Yeah, if I open a pack with this, I'm almost certainly picking it.
And the reason it says cast instead of enters the battlefield is because it mirrors the text of other cards, and that's cool. Yeah. It's cool design. So that's cool. I think it'll be fun to learn how to play these. Well, if you're out in Nebraska at some point, you can just play these with us.
Yeah.
I'll have it printed off at some point here soon.
Yeah, we can get some more people together, maybe Dad or whoever.
Yeah. A lot of people seem to want to play this. I asked Eric texted me, and he hasn't really been doing Magic for a long time.
And he was interested.
And he's interested in playing this.
All right. What about the next thing he said?
Have you ever implemented a reverse life link? Is what I think you meant to say. Instead of gaining life by doing damage, you gain life by taking damage. Oh yeah. There's a card in this.
There actually was a card in this set. Yeah.
Yeah. If you watch the previous video, there's a card that has that actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever the creature takes damage, we gain that much life.
The only reason that they don't do it very often is because it's in your opponent's control.
Yep.
So it's just not that. It's not as interesting gameplay wise.
Yep. All
right. Next card. Floodbringers. 1 and a blue for a 1/2 flying. You can pay 2 to return a land you control to its owner's hand and tap target land.
Okay. They made these cards very weak. This card is a 2-mana flyer, like we said about the Arrio or whatever.
Mm-hmm. You played your
cheap flyers. Like I was digging on that card for being terrible, but like honestly, cheap flyer's fine.
You play
it does something. Yeah. Same with this one, but like its return effect is bad, real bad.
Yeah. There's a lot of these. We're gonna see in blue. There's a fuck ton of Moonfolk, and they're all similar. They all have flying, and they all have returning a land to your hand to do an effect.
Yep.
The new one, though, so what I'm saying by that is that they all had a very similar effect, and all my new ones are doing something similar too. So they all will be changed to that. You'll see.
So the new versions of the Moonfolk return permanents instead of lands. This one is 2 and a blue for a 2/2 flying. 2, return a permanent you control to its owner's hand. Tap target permanent. So not only hitting opponent's lands makes this card amazing, actually. Being able to like repeatedly return your stuff to tap down their stuff. This also can tap down a whole board if you have enough mana and permanents to return. Usually this card will win you the game is what it'll do more than anything, I think. As in, on the last turn of the game...
Or it could stall, I think, because you just...
I think that'll happen a lot less, but it will happen. So the big thing this card will do is it's a 2/2 flyer, so it hits for a little bit. But at the end of the game, you'll have like 8 mana or 6 mana even. Tap all your lands, return 3 of them to your hand, tap all your opponent's dudes, and attack and kill.
Yep, for sure.
Like that's what this card's going to do. I think this card's absolutely incredible.
It is. So here's the thing about the old mechanic, right? The old mechanic is very expensive and costs you tempo and mana to do their effects. And while the old format was slow, those things weren't often worth it. Even in that format, they were very bad. Yeah. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to say, what if I made the cost similar, still a decent mana cost to do the ability, but you could turn their drawback, that tempo loss, like with Sweep and like with Ninjutsu, you can turn it into value sometimes.
Yep.
So that these decks are incredibly good at value, but they're still asking you to give a lot to get that value.
Yeah, when I said that's what I think you'll use it for most, I mean that. But the other thing this card is meaning to do is also here, which is that you can return permanent you control, which is your creatures that draw a card, like this Floating Dream Zubaira.
Your channel lands.
Your channel creatures, your channel lands, your cards that do other things because you returned them to your hand. You're happy to have them in your hand or to replay them over and over again to have an effect. And in those, you'll be tapping opponents' permanents just to get in for a little bit or to block a little bit. And that will happen a little bit with this card.
But this one specifically.
I think this card is actually way too strong.
Really?
Because it can hit lands. So you'll do the value stuff and stop your opponent from playing the game at the same time. And then you'll eventually get to a point where you just win the game with it. It does both at the same time on a Windrake.
You're still investing two mana and a card that you got to put back in your hand.
Yep. I'm aware. It is. Okay. It is just a lot.
I'll put in consideration adding non-land.
I want to play with it first, but we can talk about it. Actually, adding non-land permanent is fine.
We'll think about that. We may not do it. We may just play it as it is. All right. So really good.
Really strong.
I knew this one was going to be one of the really good ones. They're all pretty good actually, but they're expensive, a lot of them. So next card is Freed from the Real. 2 and a blue for an aura enchant creature. It has blue tap enchanted creature or blue untap enchanted creature.
This card is usable in Constructed for crazy combos. In Limited, you used it as a removal spell.
Yep, but you'd have to play it blue every turn, but you keep their dude tapped.
Yeah, it's a bad removal spell. You did it because you just needed more removal spells. And
yep.
There you go. It keeps their guy tapped forever, probably. Mm-hmm. It is the same this time. Do you have cool combos with it?
There are cards that you can put... So...
We know Azami works with it, but...
There's stuff that... Yeah, there's tapping stuff.
Okay.
You can put it on those to untap your stuff. I actually thought I did something different with this, which was one thing. I thought it was enchant permanent. Or enchant non-land permanent.
Do you want to change it to that?
I think I do. I want you to be able to put it on artifacts.
Okay. Are there cool artifacts that do that stuff? I don't know
Cool
yet.
tap abilities.
That's what I'm saying. Cool tap abilities on artifacts. You get to do them twice. That's cool. Or 3 times, depending how much mana you have. You know?
Yep, exactly.
Okay,
That was I think I meant to do that, but this was...
That sounds really fun. I would have to see what the artifacts are before I could make a really good rating on this. And I think I'll talk about it whenever we get to those artifacts.
We will get to that, yeah. All right. Next card, Genji of the Falls. So this is another cycle of cards. They go on lands, and they let them become creatures. They make them into man lands. So blue for Enchant Island, and that land has, or no, this card has 2 colorless mana. Enchanted Island becomes a 3/2 blue spirit creature with flying until end of turn. It's still a land. And then when the Enchanted Island is put into the graveyard, you may return Genji of the Falls from your graveyard to your hand.
This card was amazing. It's more mana than you want to spend on a 3/2 flyer for every turn. Like, you have to spend 1 mana to cast this, and then every turn after that you have to spend 2 mana to activate it, and then attack for that. So it's about 3 mana every turn is what it feels like to attack with. But it's just 3 power flyer, man. And it 3 never goes away. Flyer is so good.
If they kill the 3 power flyer, you have Genji back.
Just put it back on something else. This card's really good.
Really good. Good threat, good kill your opponent.
Yeah, if it was printed
today... You can play it on turn 1, too.
If it was printed today, it would still be playable. It wouldn't be great anymore, but it would still maybe be playable.
Yep. New one?
New one is 2 and a blue, enchant permanent you control. Enchanted permanent loses all abilities and is a 3/2 flying spirit. It's blue. Whenever enchanted permanent... Yeah, I said 3/2 blue.
Oh, my bad.
I put the words in the wrong order. 3/2 flying blue spirit, you know.
Yeah.
Whenever enchanted permanent dies, return it to its owner's hand. This is the same kind of thing you did with the other Genji. All the Genjis are going to do this now.
Yep.
So they're going to enchant any permanent. They're going to turn them into whatever creature we're looking at. I assume most of them are going to be the same as the old one or similar.
Yep.
And then whenever that dies, instead of bringing Genji to your hand, it comes back. So this doesn't bring back Genji anymore. It brings back the permanent that you altered. So I like this card a lot. I think it's... I'm going to go with playable. I'm going to go with, I want to pick this, but I don't want to pick it early. This gives me more flyers. I like flyers.
Yeah, one of the reasons also, and we talked about this whenever I went over the Genji last time when we were doing white, but one of the reasons I went with this design wasn't just for the return permanents to your hand thing. It was also because I didn't like the fact that with the old ones, this threat was never going away until they killed the enchantment.
Yeah.
And that's annoying, I think. I think if you kill the 3/2 flyer, you killed the 3/2 flyer.
Sure.
Is a... Not that, and I do think that's the purpose of Genjus, right? The purpose of these old Genjus was you always have this thing, but you do always got to put mana into it.
Yeah.
But I felt like that at many points in the game, it's not going to matter that you were putting mana into it. It's going to matter that you have this threat they can't get rid of.
Yeah. And whenever it matters that there's mana into it, the card's doing nothing, and that's not fun.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, and like, I do love the way this plays into the returning stuff to your hand, ETB.
Yeah, I like the way you've designed the new Genjis. I don't know how good they are yet. I don't know how fun they are yet even, but they look fun.
Yeah. And the thing is while if you want to get the full stuff out of them, you put them on a shit card that had that had a great you put them on a bad card with a good ETB.
Oh, sure.
But you can just put them on anything, like a land.
Put it on a land. You're like, I got too many lands.
They have a bunch of blockers. Put it on my 2/2 that now is a 3/2 flyer. It's a thing you can do.
Yeah. Oh, I love putting it on a 3/2 or on a 2/2 that turns into a 3/2 flyer on like turn 3 because then it attacks now.
It attacks now.
It doesn't. It's not sick.
And now we don't trade. Instead, you just take 3.
Take your 3, punk.
Exactly. And you don't lose value. You get your card back. So.
Yeah. So yeah, you're. It's not like other auras where you like once you kill the creature you get 2 for 1. No, you get your creature back to your hand.
You do get 2 for 1 if they respond, and that's important.
Yeah, and that's the case with all the auras.
And we want that. You need to be waiting to play your auras.
Yep.
All right, next one. Nate's got things to say about this. Ghostlit Wanderers, 1 and a blue for a 1/1 warder. God damn it. Ghostlit Warders, 1 and a blue for a creature spirit 1/1. It has 3 and a blue tap, counter target spell unless its controller pays 2, and it has Channel, which lets you pay 3 and a blue, discard this, and counter target spell unless its controller pays 4.
This card's not good. This card was not good because in order to use its ability while it's in play, it requires you to have a ton of mana up, and then your opponent just does play around it the whole time. They'll be like, okay, I'll make sure I have 2 up all the time so I don't get countered. And like it just requires more out of you than them, which makes it really bad. And then the channel part is just a little too expensive for an effect like that.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right,
now it's very similar. 1 and a blue for a 1/3, and it costs 1 and a blue. Tap, counter target spell unless controller pays 1. Similar situation, but we cut both the spots in half. And then channel is still exactly the same?
Nope. Slightly worse.
Counter target spell and its controller pays 3 instead of 4. Okay. So the problem we talked about earlier with this card is that whenever you have a card in play that says it's going to counter a spell and never does, because that's not what games play out like. Your opponent's going to play around it all the time. You just can't ever do that. Or in this particular situation, you decide to leave the mana up, or you don't. If you don't leave the mana up, then your opponent plays like whatever they're looking to play, and it goes better for them. Which is more interesting, but still not good in my opinion.
I think this one will play a lot smoother than all of the other ones with this design, because it's doing things that are much easier to do and to keep track of, which would be with this guy, you just like, I need to leave the 2 mana open, and they need to have 1 mana. It's a little bit simpler, and it's a little bit more like, this is just taxing. This is just, it's not doing something strange that's like big numbers, awkward, I need to just not do anything. This one's saying, if I want to tax my opponent, I need to leave up a little bit of mana.
Yeah, that is exactly what it's doing, and I just don't care for it. Partially because of the thing I said, where it says counter target spell,
but it won't do that.
And it will never do that. Yep. You will never activate this ability. The tap ability should never ever come up.
Yeah, but I can't like say the first spell they cast each turn.
No, you can't put any other text on there that would do the same thing. Yeah. But it's just like, it's kind of like tapping their land in their upkeep is what it does by having 2 mana up. So it costs you 2 mana to
replace the text with tap a land. Yeah.
To tap a land essentially, and that's really bad.
Sure.
Like, that's just not ever going to be good.
I wonder if the only thing is okay, for this one specifically, like the other one we talked about, the Jushi, I do think that I would want to change it to not countering spells. Yeah. On the flip side. This one, though, one of the main reasons I want to keep it this way is
because you want to
for
channel
the channel.
This card.
I want the channel to be that way.
I understand that. I like channel being able to get rid of a creature that this creature is at least playable. The 2 mana 1/3 spirit. We like that.
Yeah, and I think it's also going to play as like an awkward like Thalia a little bit.
The big thing that is good about this card, for the player that has it, is that you're allowed to play your instance in your deck and use the mana you pretended to use on this on your instance. Yep. Because what they're going to do, they're not going to be able to play anything unless they have the extra mana. So their whole turn, they've lost 1 mana every time. Because leave 1 mana up to answer this effect every time.
And you don't even need to activate it.
And you're never going to activate it. Because they're never going to let you.
Exactly.
But then their turn, you're like, oh, I'll play my instance with that mana I left up.
Yep.
That's nice. So it's something. It's better.
I do think this one will play better, and I think because of the channel, it's the main reason this one won't get changed, but the other ones will.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. Gifts Ungiven. 3 and a blue for an instant. Search your library for 4 cards with different names and reveal them. Target opponent chooses 2 of those cards. Put the chosen ones into your graveyard and the rest in your hand, then shuffle your library.
I'm too stupid to play this card.
Yeah, it's for big brain people.
I'm just too stupid. I don't know, man. This card's really, really like every person who is good at Magic agrees this is the hardest card in the entire game to play.
Clearly,
in the entire game,
it's too hard.
You have to think really, really hard about what's going on whenever you choose 4 cards out of your deck, especially in a format like Limited.
Unless you're playing Storm.
Yeah. There's certain decks that have set up piles they know they want to make, but in decks like Limited decks, it is still extremely powerful. You just have to be so smart, and you have to try for so long to make it happen.
We clearly didn't change it.
Yeah, it is a really strong card.
It's in a lot of form. People play it a lot in a lot of places.
It's restricted in Vintage.
It's restricted in Vintage, so we don't change it, and it's going to be just as fun to play, but just as brain-breaking.
Yeah, it takes a long time to resolve a Gifts Ungiven. That's why that's why it got banned in EDH.
Yeah.
It's because it takes forever, especially with 100 different cards. Yep. To figure out what you want to do. I didn't know it got banned in EDH. It's crazy. Yeah, it was banned from the start, I think.
Well, it's this way. It'll be interesting to play. Don't pick it if your brain's not big enough.
Which will be all of us.
It's going to be me. I'm not picking this card.
I'm never picking this card.
All right. Graceful Adam is 2 and a blue for a 1/3 creature human wizard.
It's another wizard.
It's another wizard. You have no maximum hand size.
This card was unplayable.
Completely unplayable. What they're trying to do here, there's a bunch of cards that increased your maximum hand size or decreased your maximum hand size or fucked with all this shit. They were nonsense. They weren't really doing anything. And the point with the blue ones of increasing your maximum hand size was so you could have more cards than your opponent and just not play cards. But it was...
And there's cards that also, like, depending on the number of cards you have, got better.
Yeah.
And those cards would get better if you were allowed to have 8 or 9 or 10 cards instead of only 7. So.
But they're not fun.
Nope.
It's just not fun to play this way. It really isn't.
Yeah, it was bad.
So we did something different, but similar.
2 and a blue for 1/3, you have no maximum hand size. Oh wait, it looks exactly the same, Johnny.
But there's more text.
Whoa. Whenever Graceful Adam deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. I love this because Scroll Thief effects are always fine, or at least And then just, you can tack on no maximum hand size, because no maximum hand size really isn't
Doesn't
good
matter.
in limited.
But you're playing a card that draws cards, so it can matter now.
It could matter, yeah. I'm expecting to sit at 8 sometimes. Not much higher, but at
often
8.
There's a lot of times when I've played Scroll Thief type cards where
I had to discard.
I had to discard because I wasn't drawing lands.
Yep.
So in those situations, you now don't have to discard. It's very niche, but it's fun because if you're looking at the old card and you compare it to the new card, you're like, I get it. I get what you're doing. And that's what I wanted to do.
I like Scroll Thieves a lot. I think they're always playable.
They're very fun to play, too.
I would pick this card pretty highly, honestly. I'd pick this like maybe 3rd or 4th pick, maybe even 2nd.
Yep. All right, next one. Guardian of Solitude. 1 blue for a 1/2. Creature Spirit. Whenever you play a Spirit or Arcane spell, target creature gains flying until end of turn. What?
I don't remember this card. Huh. It seems fine. It seems good.
If you had 3 power or greater creatures in your deck, it was going to do
I
it.
was going to say, you could play like green-blue with the huge like Soul Shift idiots that are on the ground, and then just like be like, hey,
Bang.
I played this Arcane, and I hit you for like 6.
You had the time to do that back in the day. You got to remember.
Yeah.
This is trash garbage mostly in modern limiteds because it's so small.
Yeah, it'd be terrible.
But
I think it'd be terrible.
I think it would be terrible.
Yeah. The thing though is
Here's
that
how
like,
you think
you'd
about
have
this
bigger
card.
creatures on the ground too.
What if this said whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, target creature gains flying until end of turn? Like that's bad.
That's not bad.
I think that's not playable in current limited.
I think it's really low pick rate. Yeah, you're right.
All right, new version.
New version. 1 and a blue for a 1/3. Whenever you cast a spirit spell or reveal a spirit card, target player mills 2 cards. Or you can forecast it for blue, reveal it to make target player mill 2 cards. It's part of that mill deck. If you're playing the mill deck, you got it, you want it, you play this card. If you're not, you don't.
Yep, very
It
simple.
is a 2-mana 1/3. You can play this as crappy filler spirit for the other stuff.
If you need spirits, yeah.
And it's a 1-mana forecast effect. So
Yes.
you get to reveal the spirit over and over again. So I lied to you. I think this card's
pretty good, actually.
I think this card's good.
Yep.
So this card, it's just only good in specific decks. So either the mill deck or a deck with a lot of the whenever you cast a reveal a spirit card effects that you really like.
This is one in that deck. You're just not casting this card. You're only
You're going to
foretelling because
forecast
it's
it over
so
and over
cheap.
again. Or if you need a really bad blocker.
Yeah, it's a 1/3. So yeah. All right. Next card, Heed the Mist. 3 blue for a sorcery arcane. Put the top card of your library into your graveyard, then draw cards equal to that card's converted mana cost.
This was really weird. So doing things based on converted mana cost was a thing, like in Scourge, many sets before this.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a thing in this set. I don't know why this
the only
happened.
card that does it.
I don't know why this happened. It looks like crap.
Yeah,
it was crap
trash.
because so many of your cards are lands. So you would draw 0.
Very interesting. Before this card, there was a card that drew cards, right? Based on the
CMC?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was in play. It's based on your highest CMC in play.
Oh, I was thinking of a different card. Oh, the card I'm thinking of was in Theros. Never mind.
Okay.
The card I'm thinking of was in Theros, and it's Scry 3 first.
And it's Scry 3 first, then reveal. You don't even mill it.
You don't even mill it,
reveal
yeah. So this card's really bad. I'm sorry.
This card's terrible.
It's so bad.
You have to have so much setup for this. You have to be playing big cards.
33% of your deck is lands at least, so you're whiffing.
You have to be playing big cards. You have to be playing deck manipulation to be able to see the top few cards, put one back, and be like, that's the one.
There wasn't.
This was the terrible one we saw earlier.
This is before Scry was in every set, so there was no Scry in this set. There was almost no way to manipulate the top card of your deck.
Yeah, this card's just unplayable.
Garbage trash,
So now it's 3 blue, Tribal Sorcery Spirit, instead of Arcane. As an additional cost to cast this, reveal up to 1 card from your hand. Scry X, where X is the mana value of the revealed card, then draw 3 cards. This card's fine. It's draw 3 cards at sorcery speed for 5 mana. We like those. Those are with extra effects, they're okay in limited.
Yeah.
By itself, pretty rarely playable in limited, but sometimes. I think this card could see play in this limited. It's not the kind of card I like to play in limited, so I would not pick this very highly. It's just too much.
I usually don't pick these either, but often I will pick that. I will put them in my deck when I don't have good enough top end.
Yeah, so it's really good top end.
It'll be just like, okay, since I don't have good enough top end, just having more things.
Yeah, 3 things instead of a top end creature is not bad.
Yep, especially if it lets me scry a decent amount.
Yeah, because then you get 3 real things.
Yep. All right, Higure, whatever.
Higure, yeah.
I think it's Higure. I know you pronounce the E, but I think I'm doing the U wrong. Anyway, the Stillwind, 3 blue for 3/4 legendary creature, human ninja. He has ninjutsu for 2 blue, which lets you return an unblocked attacker you control to your hand to put this into play, tapped and attacking instead. So you're replacing them. It says whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may search your library for a ninja card, reveal it, put it into your hand. If you do, shelve your library, and you can pay 2 to make a ninja unblockable this turn.
This card's really good. If you had extra ninjas, it's better. If you don't, it's bad, but Yeah, it's really bad if you don't have extra ninjas, but there are a lot of good ninjas, particularly at common with cards like Ninja the Deep Hours, which we'll eventually get to. It's just really good and easy to get. So this card could be really good. You just have to have the cards for it. And I think we have some people talking to us.
Yeah, sorry, Austin. So you said, what if Ghostlit Warder, it blocks our creature from attack the channeling blocked spell casted, so...
He fixes
I know, sorry, grammar. What if Ghostlit Warder blocks creatures for the cost of 2 mana, then channeling blocks... Oh, you mean counters, okay. Creatures, choose to save the mana, counters, cost its ability to activate. No, so the reason why I did it that way is because channel, with all the creatures... The discard ability should reflect the tap ability. It should be very similar. Same. That's why I went with that. And I really want the channel ability to be a counterspell because it's unique. All right.
I think that what he did with it is fine.
But I understand what you're saying. All right.
New Higure. 3 blue black for a 3/4. Ninjutsu 2 blue black. Whenever Higure deals combat damage to a player, you may search your library for a ninja card, reveal it, put it in your hand. If you do, shuffle your library 2 mana to make target ninja not be blocked this turn. So it's the exact same text, except for now it's requiring black as well as blue. I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be good enough in ninja heavy decks, obviously.
If you can find the ninjas.
Yep, if you get enough ninjas, Higure gets really good. And the ninjas are blue and black. Why was it only blue before? Now it's blue and black.
Yeah, and so what we're doing here is, while I don't think this is super powerful, it's going to be hard to make happen because of the huge cube. I did want to keep in the card that says, hey, you did the ninja deck. And so people could be like, hey, I did the ninja deck.
Yeah.
You know, and people love that. They absolutely love that.
Yeah, it's so much fun to do that.
It's fun to be able to get to that. So I thought, it's only one card. All the other ninjas are good without being the ninja deck. You could play one ninja and it's going to be good. So let's do the one that is, you know...
I mean, you don't even need it to be a ninja deck for this. You want to have, like, 2 more ninjas in your deck.
You just need at least one thing you can get whenever you hit.
Yeah, one that's good.
Yeah, one that's decent. Yeah. So I think this will work. I think this card will work.
Yep.
So
if you get this and Inkai's, I don't know what your Inkai's is, but I'm so excited.
You'll see.
It's probably just Inkai's.
All right. Hint 1 blue for an instant counter target spell. If it gets countered that way, put that card on the top or bottom of its owner's library instead of that player's graveyard.
This card was insane, and it was also so cool design-wise at the time. Like, this is not something we would have ever seen before this card. This was a new concept to put cards somewhere else than the graveyard when they got countered.
Yep.
Except for I think there was an exile one before this. There was the I don't remember the name of it.
No, Dissolve.
Dissolve. Yes, that card existed. But generally speaking, cards went to the graveyard when they were countered.
Yep. So you're like, oh, this is cool.
This is somewhere different.
This is before Remand, and then
you also get to choose whether they go to the top or bottom. So you can use Hinder. You can use Hinder as a plow under effect, which is an effect in Magic that we usually do something with an opponent's bad card and make them play it again.
Yep.
Like, you have to do this again. You have to draw this card again. Put it on top of your deck. Look at you. You didn't draw a real card. Look at you.
It sucks
you
for
suck.
you. So if they were in top deck mode too, and they just drew like a shitty 2-drop, and you're just like, draw it again.
Yeah.
That's amazing. If they had their bomb and you countered it, you go, nope, goes on the bottom. You do not get
having that flexibility on Hinder is very good.
Yep.
They get to choose this time, but it's blue.
Yep.
Okay. This card's interesting. So I think this is a lot worse.
No, so it doesn't counter.
Yeah. So choose target spell. Oh, it doesn't counter. Okay. So it's blue instant. Choose target spell. Its owner puts it on the top or bottom of their library. So while its spell is on the stack, you do the Hinder to it. And they're like, where do I want to put this?
Yep, they get to
choose. So it'll do the opposite of what old Hinder did. The good spells will go on top, and the bad spells will go on bottom. But it's cheaper.
You can actually play it.
Easy interaction. It's a good tempo card this time.
It's very important that I was able to reduce mana costs on interaction in some spaces where it made sense to do it, because I did want these decks to be able to keep up with the absolutely pushed increased aggro of red
stats
and black. White has some of it, but white is the aggro color that's allowed to go later, whereas black and red, their aggro is like, boom, let's go. So...
Yeah, I think I would not play this card. This is not my kind of card. I'm sure there are tempo decks that will really want it, though.
Yep. Alrighty, next one. Okay, Hisoka Minamo Sensei, 2 blue for a 1/3 legendary creature human wizard. You can pay 2 and a blue, discard a card, counter target spell if it has the same mana value as the discarded card.
So this generally wasn't good, but there is the huge hand deck that was the most commonly strong deck in the format, the Dampened Thoughts huge hand deck. And you could play Hisoka in it, and it would definitely do something good. I didn't like it.
The interesting thing about this design, as opposed to the other cards that counter spells from play, is this one, they still didn't know if you had it.
Yeah, that's why I like this card a lot better. So, there's a chance whenever you play this, they will play into it because they don't know which
converted mana cost you have. Yeah.
They'll try to play ones that you don't have, and if you've shown them you have one, like Dampened Thoughts, and they
won't play 2 costs. Though.
They won't play 2,
or
they will.
They will because
they think you have to discard it, and you're like, I'll discard my other 2 costs.
And you're like,
it's a new game that's different from the other ones.
Yeah.
It's not something that's all known information. When it's not all known information, these kinds of cards can be good, and I like the way this was designed.
Yep.
All right, now it is 2 blue for a 2/4 that says tap an untapped wizard you control and discard a card to copy target spell if it has the same mana value as the discarded card.
That's supposed to say instant or sorcery spell. No.
Okay, sure, that's fine.
It means instant or sorcery spell.
It used to be the only way you could copy spells was instant.
Right, yeah, but nowadays you can copy permanent spells and stuff.
So. Right, so this will be only for instants and sorceries. That's fine. So we have to tap a wizard and discard a card to copy something with the same mana value. I think this card is very weak. Like, very, very weak, because you're going to be turning a card into something else that is the same cost as this card. Why wouldn't I just cast this card? Because this card's a little better for what we're doing right now, the copying one. So generally speaking, what we're getting out of this is not a lot, because we're not gaining any mana value out of this. We're losing tempo because we have to tap wizards for it. But
you want to know the trick?
We don't have to... It is gaining mana value, just not at the same... So it's... Oh, man. We are gaining tempo. Yes. We're losing tempo with our creatures in play. We're gaining tempo because we don't have to spend mana on this spell that we're discarding.
You can do it with this guy the turn you play him too.
Yep,
so
exactly.
But here's the cool trick. I don't think that makes him really, really good. But the cool trick is you cast instant or sorcery and you splice onto it and then discard the splice card.
Yeah, that's cool.
If it has the same mana cost.
Same mana cost. Yeah, it's difficult to set up.
But that way you do get it twice, and now you get it 4 spells, essentially. Is what
yeah. So I think the Hisoka is going to be too hard to set up to be worth it.
Yeah.
You see Hisoka in pack 3, and you look at your cards, and you're like,
does it work?
Well, I have like 7 2-drop spells.
Yeah.
I'll try this.
Yeah. So.
But it's gonna be very uncommon. It'll be really cool when it works.
You can copy your opponent's spells too.
Sure, I like that. I like that a lot.
That was the other thing I wanted to make sure you could do with him.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I said that it didn't give you mana value before. Trying to evaluate these the moment I see them is difficult.
Totally. Yeah, no, you're good.
Especially something as interesting as this. I like it.
Yeah, so it's instant or sorcery. That's the only thing I'll remind you that this it's meant to be instant or sorcery spells. All right, you can discard any cards. You can discard creatures to copy instant sorceries, but the things you can copy are only instant sorceries.
Yeah.
Next one, his defense. So Hisoka's defense is 1 and a blue, instant counter target spirit or arcane spell.
Hisoka's Defiance is a fine board card. You just usually wouldn't do it, but like the thing is there's a spirity deck that are heavy in spirits. They're trying to soul shift all that crap, and you could put it in.
You could put this card in to do it. It's fine.
It's not good, but you could do it.
It's like a disenchant.
Now it's 1 mana instead of 2 mana. That's fine. I think it'll be a playable board card now for sure. Yeah. For sure. Before you were like,
yeah, you don't want to have to make them invest for these cards. Really.
Right, exactly. They got to be like just like boom, like we were saying. And
there's only
before.
one out of the entire 617 cards, 622 now, but 600 something cards. So the point is, if you chose this, it shouldn't feel like a dead pick. It should feel like this will be really powerful when I face the person who this is good against.
It will be very powerful when this resolves. When this card resolves, you will just be like, oh, look at you.
Imagine your opponent spent 7 mana casting a spell and
big
splicing.
Legendary spell, a spirit spell.
Yeah. And if that spell is a spirit, you just go, boom, out of here. Pay 1 mana to stop your 7 mana.
It being able to counter arcanes as well, is really useful. It did before, but
it still does
really
now,
useful. Because now the arcanes are now spirits. I think it's definitely what we like now.
Yep, as a board card.
You don't pick it high, but you're happy about it.
You don't pick any board card very high, but this is another board card like the other ones are.
Yeah, we like it.
All right, next card is Hisoka's Guard. 1 and a blue for a 1/1 creature human wizard. You may choose not to untap it during your untap step. It has 1 and a blue tap. As long as it remains tapped, target creature you control gets hexproof. Oh no, gets shroud, so it can't be a target of spells or abilities. And it just stays that way as long as it's tapped. So, cool.
This goes really bad.
Yeah.
So it requires you to put 4 mana into this card to have a creature in play that gives something else shroud. Yeah, I don't know, man. Shroud's bad. Now it gives a hexproof, and it's a 1/3 instead. So I like this because I like 2 mana 1/3s. They're always fine. They're not always fine. They can be fine in the right decks. And it only costs you 1 mana now to activate the give them hexproof forever. I also don't like this card because I hate hexproof. I wouldn't play this card.
Totally.
It's playable.
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Next card, Haunted of Seeing Winds, 4 and a blue for a legendary enchantment shrine. Beginning of your upkeep, draw a card for each shrine you control.
This card was good. It's stupid.
Yep.
I was talking about how you couldn't spend 10 mana to win the game, but you can spend 5 mana to draw an extra card every turn. That's okay. It's just drawing 1 card every turn, but it was worth it.
You didn't have other shrines often. You just wanted.
No, yeah, it's just 1. Just draw 1. Yep. Oh, it's the exact same.
Yep. So with the shrines, I did keep the shrine text because it wasn't taking away from it, unlike the Zubairas. Because by switching the Zubairas to what they are now, they're way more interesting with the design of the rest of the game. Whereas the shrines, I just made sure that if you only had this shrine, it was still playable.
I'm trying to think about this. I think this is on rate for current stuff too. That's really weird.
Drawing card every turn, yeah.
For 5, because like you have like impulsive draws for 4 every turn in some situations, and conditional draws for 4 that are playable and limited.
Yeah.
So this one's probably okay. Yep. It's probably not great. There's probably only a couple decks that play it, but it's really good for those.
And you'll feel real cool if you got like
a second shrine.
Another shrine.
Oh man, you'll feel so
now
good.
You're fucking
that was always the thing about these unlimited. If you had a second shrine,
it's over. It's over.
It's over, buddy.
But yeah.
It just doesn't happen very often, but still, yeah, I like it.
Ideas Unbound is blue for a sorcery arcane. Draw 3 cards, then discard 3 cards at the end of turn.
This is also an iconic spell in Magic now, just because it's one of the highest rates of drawing cards you can get before going to cards like Ancestral Recall.
Yeah.
Drawing 3 cards for 2 mana is wow.
And you
either win the game now.
You can keep them.
Yeah, depending on what you do.
Yeah.
You can keep them and throw away other ones. But you can also just win the game this turn, which is a lot of what Ideas Unbound does in other formats.
Right.
But in the limited format, it wasn't very good because it was value negative. Because you cast this, and then you lose that, and then you turn 3 cards into your hand. It's like
an impulsive draw.
Yeah, it's a loot. It's a looting effect. It's loot 3 times.
It's loot. So what I really like about this card in non-comboing situations is the idea that if you play it when you don't have many cards in hand, it can be like draw 2 or 3 cards.
Yeah, you draw all your cards and you play most of them and discard 1 or 2 at the end of the turn because you don't have any more left. It's pretty good.
Or if you do want to discard the cards, draw 3, discard 3 for 2 is okay.
Yeah.
If you want to discard
this card was not that good in limited.
Right. Well, we didn't change it though, but
okay.
You know,
if
you can make it good, if it's good for you, then sick.
It is also Arcane/Spirit, whichever way you want to think about that. So it's useful for that. That's a lot of what it gets used for in Modern right now.
I think this card's more interesting by being the exact same because, maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it isn't good like it wasn't before. But if it is good, that's really interesting, and it is an interesting effect. So keeping it in
I
there
love this card. It's very cool.
That's what I mean. It's like, and maybe it might not be good, but we won't know till we play or till we try a couple different things, and it's always there to try.
I think this is the kind of card, like you said, on empty hands is when this card is good.
Yeah.
So you need to build a deck that makes this empty-handed. So you want to go like Blue-Eyed Aggro or something like that.
Yeah.
This is just like, oh, hey, what's that?
Which gives you options that don't just fit into the same blue-white or blue whatever archetypes that we already have built in. They give you options that are good the ways blue is good, but for the other decks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, next one. Jetting Glaskite. 4 white for a 4/4 flying. Whenever it becomes a target of a spell or ability for the first time each turn, counter that spell or ability. It's Spirit.
This card's insane. It's a big flyer. Big flyers are always good. 3 or higher power on flyers is really strong all the time.
Yeah.
Almost no matter what the mana cost is to a certain point. Yeah. But at 6, this is playable, so you're happy with 4/4 flyer. But it's also protecting itself. This card is just so strong. I can't believe they printed it, actually.
Yeah, we didn't change it.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yep.
Hell yeah. This will be a lot worse in our version, but I shouldn't say a lot worse. This will just be worse in our version.
I felt like that card was so powerful that if I transfer it over, it'll match up better. It won't be as broken as it was before.
Yep, I definitely like this card. I think it will be actually like somewhat high picked. Like
because it's protecting itself.
The normal pick rate for an uncommon in limited, that kind of area. The pick 2 to pick 5.
It's almost a 4/4 flying for 6 hexproof.
Almost, yeah.
I prefer it not to have hexproof, so I like this. It's very powerful, but it's not.
This is also actually almost Shroud. If you target it first, it gets countered.
That's true. Okay, never mind. That's even more safe.
Yeah.
So I like this. I thought it'd be a very interesting finisher for blue. So.
Yeah.
Next card is Juicy Apprentice, 1 and a blue for a 1/2 wizard. It has 2 and a blue, tap, draw a card. Then if you have 9 or more cards in hand, flip it. And it turns into Tomoya the Revealer. Why can't I talk? It's a 2/3 legendary creature human wizard with 3 blue tap. Target player draws X cards, where X is the number of cards in your hand.
since the big hand deck was the best deck in this limited, this card was quite good, actually. You wanted to be able to just draw cards all the time, and like we said, the Honden earlier was good, or whatever it's called, the Shrine was good.
Yeah, Honden.
Honden, okay, good. So this card was also in that realm. It just cost a lot more mana, which was fine. It was worth it.
Still drawing cards.
You didn't have very many good cards, so this one would find your good cards.
Yep.
And it also could become a 2/3 that drew you a million, but you usually didn't do that.
Well, usually, if you could flip it, you
target them.
You target them because it'll mill them out, essentially, because they're drawing so many cards. If you flip it, you had 9 cards in hand, so...
Yeah, so you're at least going to have 7.
Yeah.
You know. Now it is similar. So it's 1 and a blue for a 1/2. It had 2 and a blue, tap, draw a card, but then if you have 6 or more, you flip it instead of 9.
Yep, make it more reasonable to flip.
Reasonable, I like it, okay.
And the other side's exactly the same.
3 blue, tap, target player draws X cards, versus number of cards in your hand for a 2/3.
It is
I think it'll be the exact same idea as last time. If you can build a slow deck or a mill deck, this card will be pretty good. But the mana you have to spend on Juicy Apprentice matters a lot more than it used to. Like, a lot more
Absolutely.
Than it used to.
Oh, for sure.
So this card may not actually be good. I don't know. I'm just so
out.
used to old Juicy. I feel like it has to be somewhat good.
Yeah, right. But we don't know.
Yeah.
I guess you can leave it up with all your instants, but it's so much mana to just draw a card.
Yeah. It may be bad.
3 mana is a little bit more reasonable. The 4 mana draw card cards aren't even that. They're okay in limited these days.
Yeah.
And they're rares, though, but they're okay in limited these days. This is 3 mana, we gotta tap it.
Yeah.
Alright, next card. Kaho, Minamo Historian, is 2 blue for a 2/2 legendary creature human wizard. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for up to 3 instant cards, remove them from the game, then shuffle your library. And Kaho has X tap. You may play a card with converted mana cost X, remove from the game with Kaho without playing its mana cost.
I don't think this card is good. I don't quite remember. You get your best instants and sorceries. If they kill Kaho, you're kind of screwed. If you and then so you can get your second best instant or sorceries just to play around that, and that's pretty weak too. And then they can't even activate till your next turn, no matter how much mana you have. This card is really bad.
Yes, this card's really bad. But I actually really like the design because the idea is she has her own hand of cards.
Yeah, I love that.
Really
idea.
cool.
I love that idea, but it's really weak.
I didn't really change it.
I don't think it's playable.
Yeah. Damn. I just thought it was such a cool card. You can like if you run. Okay, here's the problem, right? They just kill it. It's gonna die. You're not gonna get to keep these things. But on the
so you don't want to get your best ones.
Well, you don't need to. You just get some decent cards.
How many sorceries are you running?
Well, you're fair. That's fair. Well, I'm just saying. I think it's such a cool design, and I don't know. You're right, but I like the card a lot.
It's fine if you have like a good card with Splice in your hand. You Kaho. You go get 3 arcanes, or I guess spirits, that are instants or sorceries into your exile, and then you start planning on just doing that every turn. And that's not even like that's almost best case scenario in my mind, and that's pretty weak best case scenario.
Hey, you can play sorcerers at instant speed with my version. That one only lets you get instants.
Sweet. That is cool.
Yeah, that's all I got for you. I'm trying to think. I got a change for you. Okay. I got a change for you with it. Okay, it's not gonna make it good, but it'll make it play better. Instead of tapping her, you tap an untapped wizard you control, so it fits with the other ones too. It's still mana, still costs you a lot of mana.
Then you could do it when she comes out.
If you have the mana.
You can also do multiple in a turn.
Yeah, with other wizards, yep.
Yeah, I like that better. It's still like you said, doesn't really make it much more playable, but it does make it better by a lot. It would make it amazing and constructed, I think.
Yeah,
somehow.
I mean, like, do I really want to...
Do you want to do that? I don't know.
I want to do that. That's
okay.
Cool. I might do that with her. But... do I want to make her more resilient? I don't know.
I was about to say, I think
don't want to.
I think putting hexproof on her would be sweet, but also like
no.
counterplay. What I'm talking about would be sweet, as in like you get to actually do it, but counterplay on that would not exist then.
Yeah, no. The resilient would be making her have higher toughness, but I don't know if I want to though. I think the point, what I wanted with her, I want this text to work. So what I'm trying to do is be like, you only want to play this if you're like, she's fragile. You do not, removal's gonna annihilate this card. But the text here, I want to get paid off.
Yeah.
So maybe I think about that zone.
Sure.
So anyway. Did either of you enjoy the dungeon mechanic implemented in the D&D cards?
I liked it a lot for limited.
I thought it was really cool, very creative, very fun to play with, but
it was really weak.
It was really weak. They buffed it in Alchemy, and it's actually good now.
I haven't paid attention. Did they actually buff the dungeons themselves? Is that what they did?
Nope, they didn't touch the dungeons at all. The land now costs 1 and doesn't enter the battlefield tapped.
Whoa. That's really good. They really want you to venture that dungeon.
Yeah, no, and it works now. Like, you just play your Nadar, and you're like, he's vigilant, so...
Look at him.
The Gargoyle costs 2 instead of 3 mana.
Ooh, nice. I like that. Because Gargoyle
the
at 3 was
Adventurer, the 2 mana Black-White Adventurer has 2 power now instead of 1. So it just hits better.
Hits better.
Because they're not going to block.
More playable.
I think there's some other cards, but the removal enchantment costs 2 mana now. The black removal enchantment costs 2
Oh, I like that card. That card was actually good.
Yeah, no, it's 2 mana.
Okay.
So it's like really good.
-5, -2, but if -5 if you completed a dungeon, that card.
Yeah, and it enters the battlefield. Enter the
Go into
like,
the dungeon,
that card's really good now.
All
right. Next card. Next card is Kaijin of the Vanishing Touch. 1 in a blue for a 0/3 defender, creature spirit. Whenever it blocks a creature, return that creature to its owner's hand at the end of combat, only if that creature's in play still. This is what it's trying to remind you.
This card is not good. I like this kind of effect though. I like Wall of Frost effects.
Yeah.
That whenever they block, it makes the card that attacked worse somehow.
Yeah,
but it doesn't actually have power. It doesn't actually.
It doesn't
do anything.
kill it. It just like does
Makes
something
it,
else.
suck.
Yep, for sure.
But it's bad. It's the same, except for it has more toughness.
Yes.
It is 1 in a blue for a 0/4 spirit. Whenever it blocks, return that to its owner's hand at the end of combat. Yeah. I still think it's not good, but I do like 4 toughness for cheap, so I may play this kind of card anyways.
Yep.
Just to keep me around. And
Sure.
bouncing their card, it's definitely something.
Yeah.
It slows them down a lot. Yeah, no, this
Which is
card's actually
all we
probably
want
playable.
to do.
This card's definitely playable.
Yep. Next card is Kami the Crescent Moon, blue for a legendary creature spirit. It's 1/3. Beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws a card.
This card, I think it was good. I don't think I ever saw it in limited, but it seems really good to me.
Clearly good and constructed.
Yeah, really good and constructed. Because, like,
there was a
Owling
deck.
Mine was insane.
Yeah, there was a deck that wanted your opponent to have lots of cards in hand.
And then obviously you having cards in hand is sweet anyways.
Yep.
No matter what. We like doing that.
Yep, we didn't change it.
Yeah, I expect this card to be playable.
Yep.
I always want to play this card.
Interested to see how good it is, how it will
The
work.
big problem with this card always will be, and always has been, your opponent gets the first card.
Yep, that's a big problem with it, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
And I had other options I could go with it, but I decided because it has seen a lot of play in a lot of different formats, I thought the best idea was to just keep it exactly the same.
Yeah, I expect it to be fine.
Yeah. Kami of Twisted Reflection, 1 blue for a 2/2 creature spirit. You can sacrifice it to return target creature you control to its owner's hand.
Yeah, this card's bad.
This card's terrible trash.
It's one of the soul shifters. It's one of the cards you bring back with soul shift for some reason, but like at the same time, why are we targeting our own guys?
So I've known about this card for a very long time. Whenever
Yeah.
I first started playing Magic, I had a bunch of Kamigawa cards, and they were all bad, but I just like had them, and I looked through them. I only recently realized this card only returned your own creatures.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, whenever I redesigning it, that's when I learned. I thought back when I was learning how to play Magic and had them, that it could return your opponent's stuff. I thought, okay, I get it, because we had talked multiple times about how Kamigawa was a little bit weaker than other things, but I still liked
That card would have been good at that part.
Yeah, and I thought, that's pretty cool. This card's pretty decent. It's not great, but you can return their stuff, and then you can
Your damage was on the stack at the time. I think that card was good if that was the case.
Yeah, so this card wasn't, though.
No.
So here's what it is now.
Now it does that. Nice. But it's 1 in a blue. Whoa.
Hey, we got some text here that's really stupid, though. I accidentally put Kami of the Twisted Reflection.
Hey, nerfed.
Nerfed. I will change it.
Okay, 1 in a blue for a 2/2. Sacrifice Kami of Twisted Reflection. No. Sacrifice Kami of the Twisted Reflection. Sorry.
Yeah, can't
because
sacrifice
this
that
one,
Yeah.
Return target creature to its owner's hand. This card's, I think, really good, especially because of soul shift stuff. This card fucks.
Yeah, this card's good. I'm excited for this card. I think it's really cool.
So it's a 2/2. We talked about how good instant speed bounce is and how versatile it is already. So it does that, but it's in play, so it's less of a surprise. You're not gonna get got. Your opponent's not gonna get got by like I tried to play my aura, but you had Kami of the Twisted Reflection.
Yeah, they see it coming.
They know they're not gonna try. But it being in play is a good threat, and it's a 2/2 for 2, which is fine.
Yep. You always have the option to just do it.
This card's really good. You picked this relatively early, I think. Not super early, but like...
If you know you're doing blue, you're like,
later.
okay, this card's going to be good in my deck, though.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, next card. Keiga, the Tide Star, is 5 in a blue for a 5/5 flying legendary creature, Dragon Spirit. Whenever it dies, gain control of target creature.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, of course, it's amazing.
The flying 5/5s for 6...
They were all good. Every single one were good.
No matter what. And then its ability's amazing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Sounds great, except for it's 4 blue now instead of 5 in a blue. Beautiful.
Yep, I did this with all of them. I don't understand why
They explained it. They explained it on the Good Morning Magic today or yesterday or something.
Oh, fuck, I missed that.
How dragony is the color? If it's really dragony, you make it less less pips because it's easier to do. I'm a dragon color. How about that?
That's actually really cool.
Yeah,
so red and blue got the 5 and a pip.
5 and a pip, and then the black and
were double pip.
Black and white were double pipped,
and
then
green
the
was
green
triple
was triple
pip
because you don't make dragons in green.
I like that. Not
gonna do it.
I just chose to make them play more correctly.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah, so I like this better too. This is good.
Alrighty, next card. Kira Great Glass Spinner is 1 blue for a 2/2 flying legendary creature spirit. Creatures you control have, whenever this creature becomes a target of a spell or ability for the first time each turn, counter that spell or ability.
This card's amazing and constructed. It was fine and limited. It was a very hard to like target your good creatures, and also it's a pretty good creature itself in limited. 2/2 flyer. Windrake was really good at the time, you know. Yeah, this card's good.
Yep, kept it the same.
Yeah, it got worse, but not by a lot.
Still gonna be fine. It's a Windrake with a good protection ability.
Yeah, you don't pick it super high or anything, but you pick this card. You like playing this card.
Protects your other
The
creatures.
double blue will be less like happy with than your other Windrakes, but we're happy.
Got
It's
good
good.
text.
It's great text.
Next card. Kira Ona is 4 and a blue for a 2/2 creature spirit. Whenever it comes into play, return target creature to its owner's hand. Whenever you play a spirit or arcane spell, you may return this to your hand.
There was a few cards like this. I don't know how many. It didn't really feel like a cycle because I don't remember the white one.
There is one for each. The white one destroys enchantments. It's the only one that's seen constructed play in eternal formats.
It's the worst one.
Yep.
Okay, this
one's all
one's
playing modern.
This one's good though. So it's really awkward, like how much mana it costs. 5 mana for a 2/2 to bounce something. That's like 2 mana over rate. Usually you like mana war at 3 mana. You do it. But the being able to return it to your hand was useful at times. This card was good.
Real awkward though. It returns itself if it's the only creature.
Oh, it wasn't a May.
It's not a May, and it's not opponent controls.
Okay, 4 and a blue. It's still not a May. What the heck?
Yeah, but now
it says another. Okay.
I added another.
But that means we have to hit our other guys if they don't have any.
We do.
That sucks. And then whenever you cast Spirit or if you cast a Spirit or reveal a Spirit spell, you can return this to your hand. Still 5 mana. I'm surprised at that.
I went with 5 mana still because of how repeatable it will be. It's another one of those cards that says you're going to want a lot of mana, but I'm going to be great when you do.
I think it's really weak at 5 mana. I think we don't pick this all very often, but there are decks that want it still.
I think I worried about this card being cheap enough to be realistically repeatable. That was my worry.
That's fair. That's fair worry.
Because you got to think
4 mana, it would be really, really good.
Yeah, you got to think it returns itself, which means you can trigger all of your other spirits. So, say you've got a spirit or a spirit reveal or cast trigger.
Oh, I see.
You cast another spell.
Infinite mana, this card's broken.
This. Yeah.
So once you have a lot of mana at any point in time, it gets really strong because you cast this to return a spirit spell. You cast the spirit, and then they return this.
Yes.
So I see. That was always the case before as well.
That's my worry about making it cheaper. Not because I think it's going to be, still great at 5, but because even at 4, I'm like worried about that. You know what I mean?
Okay, I got you.
So,
I got you.
With 4, it's more realistic. You could do it twice in a turn.
Right.
And that's what we don't want.
That's too much. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Lifted by Clouds, 2 and a blue for instant arcane. Target creature gains flying until end of turn. Spice and arcane, 1 and a blue.
Real bad.
This card's trash garbage.
Way too much mana.
What were
this
they
effect
thinking?
is fine.
Yeah.
The mana costs are wow. Holy crap! Why?
I just didn't know it was happening here, so I just
1/1. 2 sweep each player. Oh, just made a new card. So 1 and a blue. Each player draws 2 cards. Sweep on it as well. So you can, when you cast this, you can return 2 permanents you control to do it twice. I don't think this card's very good.
No, probably not.
I'm trying to decide how this works. Yeah, each player drawing 2 cards off of Lifted by Clouds is really bad for you. Obviously, it's never going to be value positive because this will always draw you and them the same amount, but use a card from yourself to do it.
Yep.
But you might find a deck that likes it anyways, just because you need the sweep or you need the spirit spells or whatever it is.
It is the card for the cheapest that can turn on all of your hand size cards.
Yeah, you can get 6 cards in hand off of this. That's insane.
That was what I was going for
really
with
cool.
it.
I do like that.
And I was like, this is a big enough drawback that I'm okay with that.
Yeah, okay. I am imagining that deck would maybe even look for one of these,
Yeah, there's a chance. It really depends on how much those cards are going to affect. And they're going to affect, they're going to help your opponent a decent bit, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, next card. Mashin, the Mind Cage. 4 blue, legendary enchantment. All creatures get -X/-0, where X is the number of cards in your hand.
Because Dampened Thoughts was one of the best decks in the format, this card was insane, and your hand size was always huge, so nobody could ever hit you, so you just won the game if this landed. Yeah. This card is insane and limited, and also quite good and constructed.
You wonder why I have so many disenchants.
You kept it. Okay, but it's much cheaper. So it was 7 mana before, and now it's only 4. But it is white, blue, legendary enchantment, where all creatures get -X/-0, where X is never card. And minusing your own guys is a huge part of it.
Yes.
So, you can't just, haha, now you're all
the
your guys suck, I'll kill you.
The only deck that wants this is the deck that isn't winning with creatures.
Yeah, the Dampened Thought style decks. Yep. Or something that knows it can kill it.
Yep. Or bounce it.
Yeah, even better. Yeah, there's so many cards that bounce this because of sweep now. And
you could just be playing like Moonfolk, bounce it on your turn, swing, play it again every turn.
That's really strong. It costs a lot of mana though.
Yes.
I like this effect a lot in your format. Yeah. This card is, because it's white, blue, it is only very specific decks can play it, but when they do, they'll be very happy with it.
Yep, exactly. Next card, Miloku, the Clouded Mirror. We just get 2 bombs in a row. 4 in a blue, 2 floor flying. Legendary creature, Moonfolk Wizard. It has 1, return a land you control to its owner's hand, put a 1/1 blue illusion creature token in with flying into play.
So I said last card was, when you play it, you win the game. It costs 7 mana, yeah?
Yeah.
It's the same thing, but it costs 5 mana.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's not literally like that, because you do need more mana to activate it before they removal it, but generally speaking, you just win.
Whatever lands you got, just pop them back in your hand and make...
Yeah, you like play Miloku, and then next turn you can just have 5/1/1s, or you can just like always whenever you have land drops left you haven't done yet, be like, all right, that's a 1/1.
Yeah, and you could just play like your instance or whatever and wait on their end step. Okay, I'll just return all my lands to my hand.
Yeah, and the thing about it is because it costs 1, it's huge. So you tap a land and then return
that same land.
And now you have a 1/1. Insane.
All right, new version.
Now it is the same thing except for it costs 2. And it returns any permanent instead of just a land. I like this a lot better. It does not do the whole thing that the old one did, because it costs 2 mana, but being able to return any permanent does the very interesting interactions with the whole set, ETBs and everything. Yeah, this card should be good. This card should be very strong, actually, just not anywhere near as strong as the old one.
Right, exactly. Next card. Minamo Scroll Keeper is 1 in a blue for a 2/3 defender. Your maximum hand size is increased by 1.
This card slaps. This card is a 2/3 for 2, baby.
Yeah, back then that really mattered, and that means it blocks insanely well.
That's huge.
The other text doesn't matter. We don't look at that. It's a 2/3 defender for 1 in a blue. We love
Which is weird, because the other card that maximized your hand size to whatever you wanted it to be, they gave it cost to increase it. They increased its mana cost because of it. This one, it didn't. A 2/3 defender for 2 is like good.
Yeah, but this one doesn't say maximum hand size is infinite. It just says increased by 1.
Yeah, that's true. It's just, this card's good. This card was good.
Yeah, yep. And it now says...
Okay. 1 in a blue for a 3/3 defender, you have no maximum hand size. So 3-power defenders are always strong and limited.
The two mana 3/3.
Oh my gosh, this is like I said, the 2/3 was good. Then this is as good now as that was then.
Yep, that's what we went for.
Just really good. No maximum hand size. Nice tack on. Like, it almost doesn't matter.
But just like the other one, we wanted to. If it can happen.
Yep.
So alrighty. Next card, Minamo Sightbender, is 1 in a blue for a 1/2 creature. Human wizard has X tap. Target creature with power X or less is unblockable this turn. Huh? What does it say?
This card's not good, but it does stuff. I don't know what to say. It
kind of makes things unblockable. There's so much investment.
Yeah, you can't also ninjutsu with it easily. Like, you have to tap this, so you can't target this to be unblockable, so you can't, like, by itself turn into... Instead, now it's a 1 in a blue 2/1. Whenever it enters battlefield, target creature can't be blocked this turn. Much less mana investment. I love this card. It also is a 2/1 instead of a 1/2. 1/2s are terrible. If you didn't know, 1/2s compared to 2/1s in Magic are like night and day.
1/2s are the worst stat line in Magic. Because you probably had to pay for it.
Yeah.
It's just bad. In Magic nowadays, they don't make you pay for that extra toughness ever.
Yeah, no. The 1/2's just terrible. 2/1 is like, it attacks for 2. That's something. It also trades the 2/2s. We like that. Yeah. 2/1s are your usual filler size 2 mana creatures.
They hit your opponent for 2 instead of 1 as well when they attack. If your opponent's not doing nothing,
they're doing their job. You don't usually like having 2/1s as much, but they do their job.
They subsist.
And then this enters the battlefield. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. Plays well into the ninja stuff that we were talking about, and also could just kill your opponent.
Get them in. Just get in there. You can also return this with your return stuff when you got mana. Keep playing it to keep making something.
Hit them for 3 or 4 at a time. Bam, bam, bam. Yeah, it's fine filler. You'll play this. It will be your last few cards.
The blue-white has like 2 main decks, right? They have the big hand size deck, but they also have the honor deck. Even though blue doesn't have honor,
through a big honor
blue has a million ways to return cards to your hand, so it has a really good way of triggering your white honor cards a lot.
Yeah, blue-white honor seems like this card would be very good.
You always got to remember that with the other honor cards, that if you pair it with blue, you're gonna have really easy ways to return stuff to your hand.
That's cool. I like that.
Alright, next card. Minamo's Meddling is 2 blue for an instant. Counter target spell. That spell's controller reveals their hand, then discards each card with the same name as a card spliced onto that spell.
Okay. This card's bad, but what the whole deal with this is that whenever you do splice, you keep it in your hand. So this is like, instead of just countering the spell, we're countering both parts.
We're countering the whole thing.
The whole thing goes to your graveyard. It's 4 mana counter spell. It got played anyways, even though it was bad. I didn't like doing it.
Yep.
The spell's controller discards all cards revealed from their hand this turn. Okay, is the changed text, by the way.
Yes.
So still counters the spell, and then it'll still do the same thing as that one, where it counters anything they revealed for Splice. But if they also revealed anything else for forecast or whatever purposes, it will end up going to the graveyard as well. It's very interesting, and it does the thing we were talking about before. This could only work in a casual setting or an online setting. This could not work in a competitive paper setting.
Right.
Because you can't know which ones were actually revealed very
exactly.
well.
Yep.
But we have a couple of cards like that in this format, and I think it'll be fine. I like it a lot.
Okay. Alrighty. Next card is Mistblade Shinobi, 2 and a blue for a 1/1 creature human ninja, has ninjutsu for blue, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may return target creature that player controls to its owner's hand.
This card's insane!
Card's awesome.
So, usually you only got to do it once, but for ninjutsu 1 mana, this card gave you so much tempo if you were an aggro deck, and that's, like, really insane. Obviously, in blue, you couldn't be an aggro deck very often in this format, but you made it happen, or you used this in the non-aggro decks anyways, because you had aggro draws, or you had the necessity to bounce something anyways just to slow your opponent down. It was weird that you had to attack to slow your opponent down, but it worked out nicely. But you got all these flyers. And then it also meant they always had to keep something back to block this creature, which meant they couldn't just alpha strike you constantly.
Yep.
So as the defensive deck, this card was also insane. Yep. This card was really, really good.
Yeah, we didn't change it.
Oh, no, good. It's really, really good.
It's really cool. Like I said, we changed, I think, 1 or 2 ninjas. Like, they were all so nice that they didn't need to be changed.
Yeah.
And they all play pretty well, so... next card is Moonbow Illusionists, 2 and a blue for a 2/1 flying creature. Moonfolk Wizard has 2. Return a land you control to its owner's hand. Target land's type becomes a basic land type of your choice until end of turn.
Yeah, this is just the tap one, but worse.
It's so bad.
The one that tapped lands, you could at least tax your opponent a little bit to do it. This one gives you mana fixing. Great. I don't care.
So bad.
Yeah, this is
it turns on your land walk, Nate.
Wow. So this is just a lot to invest on something that just didn't do very much.
Yep. They don't do these effects anymore because they're nonsense.
Yeah. Now it's 2 and a blue for a 2/2 flying. Return target permanent you control and 2 mana. To target creature cannot be blocked this turn. I like this a lot better. The can't be blocked effects are, like we said earlier, useful for ninjas. Good. For
my brain was on Landwalk as one of the reasons why you use this kind of effect.
Okay.
And so I was like,
just make him unblockable.
Make him unblockable. Like, what do you want from me?
I think this card's probably really good in the same way as the other one for winning the game. This card will just win the game sometimes. You just bounce 3 cards. You make your whole team unblockable, kill them. But its lead up to that is much worse. Instead, it's poking them with the creature, which you could do with the other one as well, but you can't lock down their lands. You can't slow the game down with this one. I like it. I think this is more reasonable than the other one.
Yeah. All right. Next card. Murmurs from Beyond. 2 and a blue, instant arcane. Reveal the top 3 cards of your library. An opponent chooses 1. Put that card in your graveyard and the rest in your hand.
This card's no good.
No good.
Yeah, sadly.
Instant speed divinations, but you get the worst 2.
You get the worst 2 cards.
Yeah.
You get 2 bad cards instead of a good card and a bad card.
Yeah, that's true.
So Murmurs from Beyond. Part of the problem in that format was you had so many bad cards that whenever you look at 3 of them, your max amount of them that you'll see that are good is probably 1.
And they get rid of it.
They get rid of it, so it does you no good. Yeah. So in this format, it is still a 2 and a blue tribal instant spirit. Reveal the top 3 cards of your library. Opponent chooses 1. Put that in your graveyard and the rest of your hand. It'll be better because you'll have better cards. I still think this card's going to be bad though.
You want to know why I think this card's actually going to be really good? Read the first sentence.
Oh, okay, sure, that's reasonable. That's a good reason.
Yeah.
Okay, so we reveal the top 3 cards of our library. That includes any spirits that are there.
So
we
all
get more
spirits we reveal do spirit
Okay,
triggers.
yeah, so that's the only time you'll play this, I think, though.
Exactly.
But
that's
fine.
why I was like, oh, this is so cool.
That is really smart.
So I kept it.
That's really cool.
Yep.
Yeah, we need to remember that.
Yep.
That's really cool.
That's why I kept it.
Yep, it's a 1-deck card, and 1-deck cards are really cool.
Yep.
I like them.
All right, next card. Myojin of Seeing Winds. 7 blue for a 3/3 legendary creature spirit. It enters the battlefield with a divinity counter on it if you've played it from your hand, and it has indestructible as long as it has that counter. You may remove that counter, though, to draw a card for each permanent you control.
Not playable in the old way. There was a cool, I think it was a modern deck that could, do interesting things and make this happen faster somehow. Don't quite remember how it worked. It wasn't good. Now it is still 7 blue with a 3/3. It's all the same text. All right, cool.
Yep, same text. I just formatted it better. I decided to keep most of my Ojins the same. Okay. They're fine. This one's probably the one that will not see play at all.
Yeah, it's 10 mana. It's the same problem as the blue.
I thought it was interesting to keep in because there are some ways to cheat stuff in, and it might be interesting that this is the one you get.
Also in Limited, in particular, drawing a card for each permanent you control can kill you.
Yes, it can kill you, so that's really bad. But we'll see. I don't believe in changing this one. I don't think there's a good reason to change it. But It could end up that we play for a while and we go, I would really wish this card was a different card.
Yeah, if we can think of something we really wanted here, then we'll put it here, but otherwise...
I couldn't think of anything either. So anyway, next card. Mystic Restraints, 2 blue for an aura. You can play it as an instant, so it's got flash. When it comes into play, tap the enchanted creature, and then that creature doesn't untap for its controller's untap.
This card was really good at the time. Removal in blue was weak. We've talked about that already. So we like this card. This kind of card usually is 3 mana sorcery speed, so 4 mana instant speed. Not unreasonable.
Yep. Slightly different.
So now it is 3 blue instead of 2 blue. Flash. Enters battlefield, tap target creature, and it doesn't untap. Yep, I like this card. It is still an enchant creature. It's mostly the same, just costs colored mana less. Huh?
Oh.
When it target creature. Oh,
yeah.
Dude, I can't read.
Yeah, no, it's slightly different.
So it's flash, and it says whenever Mystic Restraints enters the battlefield, tap target creature instead of tap enchanted creature. So if the enchanted creature is already tapped, you can tap something else. Even if it's not tapped already, you can tap something else.
Something more important,
yeah, this is interesting for sure. It can cause board states that you win in 2 turns is what I'm thinking a lot of times with this kind of
it's
card.
A lot more powerful card.
So like usually with cards that tap opponents' things in blue, you'll use them to make it to where you have a tempo advantage. That's when it's good. It's bad when you're using it to slow somebody down. Whenever it's this kind of card, it's usually just straight up removal, which is good both ways.
Yeah.
But this card can play as straight up removal, or you can play it as the first thing, where you have them attack you with most of their creatures, but not this
blocker.
one. Not the important blocker. And you're like, all right, I'll play this on one of the guys you're attacking with, and I'll tap your blocker.
And now I swing.
Now I'll block your guys to where I don't die. I'll swing at you. You'll go to your turn, and then you'll have less than you hoped by a lot. And you'll be low, and we'll make this work really well. It could kill you in 2 turns, yeah.
Yep.
Very interesting.
Yeah, you can bounce back to your hand, tap something else, another option.
Yeah. It has an ETB. This is a cool card. It's just removal most of the time.
Yes.
It's good at that.
I wanted to play more interestingly.
With more interesting stuff to go to it. I like it. I like it a lot.
Next card is Ninja the Deep Hours. We love this card. 3 in a blue. I'm just going to let you guys know.
It's the
same card both times. The card's amazing, really fun to play with.
Text, though.
But it's 3 in a blue for a creature human ninja 2/2. Has ninjutsu for 1 in a blue. When it deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. You may draw a card.
Yeah, just in case you're no cards, don't die.
Yeah, you don't want to die.
This card is really good. It was really good last time. It's really good in Pauper. It got outclassed in this new set a little bit, but it's great. I
love this card so much. It's going to be fun to play in this format. It works really well. Some of the changes I've made, adding more ETBs, make this card even better in the version of the format. So this card's going to play really well. Next card is Oboro Breeze Caller, 1 in a blue for a 1/1 flying. Creature Moonfog. Has 2 return a land you control to its owner's hand, untap target land.
What?
This card's nonsense.
This card is nonsense. So this is mana fixing in an even way worse version than the old one. So this could give you double colors of colors you don't have, is what it could do.
So expensive.
For mana, and lands going back to your hand. What?
This card's bad.
This is a 2 mana 1/1 flyer with no text.
Yeah, exactly. So we did this now.
Now it is a 2 mana 1/3 flyer. With 2, return a permanent you control to its owner's hand, untap target permanent. This is more sensible. It gives something vigilance is the main thing you'll use it for, I think.
And then maybe some artifacts if you have cool artifacts.
Yeah, the main thing this will do, I think, be blocking. It flies, which is really nice, but it'll help your blockers be blockers. This is a flying card.
Has one of the worst
synergies with the returning to permanents.
Yeah, has one of the worst returning abilities of the cards, so it gets a decent stat line. That's 1/3 for 2 flying. Is really nice.
This will also be, I think, the worst of the Moonfolk we've seen so far.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
But it does stuff. It's playable.
You can't have them all be the same power level.
Yeah.
There's too many of them.
It's playable.
All right. What is y'all's least favorite card to play against? Do you have a least favorite card to play against?
Yes, I can't remember it. I know I was so frustrated recently about something, and I was like, just stop doing that.
What's my least favorite card to play against? I definitely have one.
There was some Twitter thing that asked what card, whenever you see it, makes you go, ugh, more than any other. Or what, it wasn't ugh, it was like, not this again.
Oh, okay.
And I can't remember what I thought it was. I think Thoughtseize it was, probably.
Really?
And it's not that I don't like Thoughtseize, it just makes me think that whenever I see it.
That's totally fair.
Because, it's just where the rest of the game's going, kind of. You know how it feels whenever a Thoughtseize is cast, every time.
I don't play... I play so few decks in Thoughtseize formats that lose to Thoughtseize.
Well, my decks don't lose to Thoughtseize either. It's just, I don't know, how it goes.
What's a good card? What's a good not this again situation?
Which
this doesn't answer
any
Urza's Land.
Oh, that's actually what I said. Never mind, that was my answer. Urza Lands.
If you just play an Urza Land, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, that was the thing. It's because you don't know when. It's not you don't know when. It's this again because it doesn't happen until turn 3. Whenever they do their thing, you're waiting till it happens. You have to sit around and you know exactly how this game's gonna play.
And it happens so similar so often.
Yeah.
But you have to play it through because it might not happen.
They might not draw the cards. Yeah, that was actually what I answered on that.
If you don't know what Urzatron is, it is 3 lands that are named different things that are Urza's X, Y, and Z, and when you have them together, they make 7 mana altogether.
Just 3 lands make 7 mana. It's unreal.
It's unreal. They play huge cards that just make you lose the game.
Yeah, definitely my least favorite cards. For sure.
Not fun to play against. All right, next. Oboro Envoy is 3 and a blue for a 1/3 flying creature Moonfolk that has 2 return a land you control to its owner's hand. Target creature gets -X/-0 until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your. Yo, this is a typo.
Return a land. Okay, wait.
This is the original version of the card.
Okay, I gotta see this.
Read this card.
3 and a blue, 1/3 flying Moonfolk Wizard. 2. Return a land you control to its owner's hand. Target creature gets -X/-0, where X is the number of cards in your hand.
This is a typo. It doesn't work this way. There's no way.
What do you mean? What's the problem?
It doesn't say until on a turn.
Oh, yeah.
It's permanently.
It's a typo.
Permanently.
They had that typo happen every once in a while at the time.
Okay, yours is Master of Cruelties. I love to control the field, taking cards and sending cards off the field. And it counters that because my creatures take a lot of time to make it on the field. Oh, Master of Cruelties because it makes you discard your whole hand.
That's not Master of Cruelties. Master of Cruelties is the 1/4 first strike.
Oh, the one that kills you.
Puts you down to 1.
Puts you down to 1. Oh, okay. Yeah, Master of Cruelties is fine. Just kill it. Removal.
Or just take it and always be at 1.
Yeah, just take the damage. You can't kill you with it.
Isn't that Master? I think I'm thinking of the right card.
So anyway, let's just add the until on a turn text. How do you feel this card?
This card is slightly better than some of the other ones. It's terrible though. It's still bad. This one's now a 3 and a blue for a 2/4 flying. 2 return a permanent you control to its owner's hand. Target creature gets -X/-0 until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand, and it's okay.
Better stats and
the -X/-0 is good, but it being on the field again, like having combat tricks on the field is almost as bad as having counter spells on the field.
True.
It's complex and awkward and. I don't like this card very much, but I don't think it's bad.
Fair enough. We can see how it goes. I think cards like this one, we're gonna have to play first.
I think it's gonna be fine too.
If it's fine, we keep it.
Yeah.
And if it's like no, this is like
nothing.
Yeah. We can change it to be something.
I think it's fine. I think it's something.
Next card, Oppressive Will. 2 and a blue, instant counter target spell unless the controller pays 1 for each card in your hand.
This card worked. I hated it. It's so bad. This card's really bad, by the way.
Yeah.
But in that limited, it just did its job.
Like, the limit was crazy slow. You had so many cards in hand all the time. So it was going to be like a, convolute or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, usually it was like, unless they pay 2 or 3, but like, that was good enough.
Good enough, yeah. They're not going to resolve their expensive spells.
Okay, 1 and a blue, counter target spell unless the controller pays 1 for each card in your hand. Better. Still don't like it.
Yep. I just
it's playable.
I definitely wanted counter spells to be a thing.
Yeah.
For sure. Because
the hand size card deck is still a thing.
Yep, the blue big hand deck needs counter spells to be able to function because it needs to be able to play instant speed draw or other things like that as well.
Yep.
So.
It'll do its job.
Overwhelming Intellect is 4 blue, instant counter target creature spell. Draw cards equal to that spell's converted mana cost.
This card is bad. I'd seen people play it. Like I said, in the past, I've only played a little bit of the format. I don't remember this card being good. It's so much mana is the problem. Expensive counterspells are never really good in limited.
Well, I decided to keep it and see how it goes.
Yeah, it might do something. It's like, obviously, when this card resolves, you're going insane. You're going ham, dude.
Yeah.
You're going to draw at least 3 cards. They don't get their cards, so you do 4 cards for 1 at least.
I imagine that the big hand deck, this is a card that makes sense for them.
Yeah.
And I wasn't about to reduce its mana cost because I really didn't know what that's going to look like.
Absolutely not.
Because like when you resolve it, that's insane.
Yeah. At 6 mana, it's too expensive, but at 5, it's way too cheap.
Yeah. So it's just like I just decided to leave it and see what happens.
Yeah.
It may be just again like before, just not good enough to play. But I wanted to try it because I did believe that deck would love this if it could do it.
Yeah. When this card's too good, that's actually good for the game.
Yeah.
Because it's 6 mana.
Yeah.
If this card's too good, that's good. That's really good.
Just leave it that way because you got to get 6 mana and leave it up on your monster.
Yeah.
Like they're probably not casting a big creature, so you're and you're not gonna just like not counter the creature they cast when you can. If you draw 2 or more cards off this, it's fine. You're fine. You did it. Hooray! Like
Yep. 3 for 1 at least.
Part the Veil, 3 and a blue, instant arcane. Return all creatures you control to their owner's hand.
Oh, this card sucks.
Yeah, and this is bad. It's such bad tempo.
There wasn't very much to be happy about at the time to do that with.
Yeah, ETBs weren't really instant battlefield effects. There just weren't any.
The main reason they liked it because your hand size got bigger when you put all the creatures back. But like, who cares at the time?
Exactly.
Like, yes, we wanted our hand size to be big. This is not how we're doing it.
No.
Okay, so now it's 3 and a blue. Exile any number of target creatures you own on the battlefield, then return them to the battlefield under your control. This is called a flicker effect. We get all of our ETBs for 3 and a blue. This is pretty okay. It doesn't slide, so it doesn't save them from like a board wipe or from damage or anything like that. This is probably not good, I'm going to say. But it is a Tribal Instant Spirit and does all the ETBs.
Yep.
You might want to try it. It's fun.
Could be okay. All right, next one is Patron of the Moon. Yeah. 5 blue for a 5/4 flying legendary creature spirit. It has Moonfolk Offering, which means you can play this as an instant, so with flash, by sacrificing a Moonfolk and playing the difference in their mana costs. It also has the ability to pay 1, put 2 land cards from your hand to play tapped.
This card's 5 power flyer.
It's going to get there.
It ends the game.
You could play it for cheaper if you had Moonfolk to sack.
The ramp is interesting. Obviously, the idea is you're like, I returned all these lands for my Moonfolk effects. I'm going to put them back in play, baby.
Yeah.
And that's, okay, sure.
Sure.
Whatever. Who cares about that? You have 5 power, buddy. All right. You didn't change it except for the Emerge effect. I like that. So it has Emerge instead of the Moonfolk Offering effect, which means that you can sacrifice other creatures as well to reduce this card's cost all the way down to, at minimum, 1 blue mana.
1 blue mana.
And then it's flying 5/4, 1, put 2 lands from your hand in the battlefield tapped to do the sweep and the Moonfolk effect. The card's effect is much more useful in this format. Its Emerge is a lot stronger in this format. I think this card is a bomb. That's what I would call this. This is one of the best cards we've seen since doing this whole video. I will always first pick this card every time. It's very strong.
Yep, seems really good. All right. Next card. Peer Through Depths. 1 and a blue. Instant Arcane. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal an instant or sorcery card from among them, put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order.
Yeah. If you have the Dampened Thoughts deck all put together, this card is Arcane and it looks for your Dampened Thoughts and other things. This card's fine.
Yep. It sees play in some constructed formats.
Yep,
so,
it does.
Because it digs 5 for instant sorceries, and if you're an instant sorcery deck...
Digging 5 is nice. Yeah, to find your good one. It's the same? Question mark?
Yep. Just a Tribal Instant Spirit.
Yeah, I like it less in this format a lot.
Yep, I think that it's very rare you're going to pick this, but the deck that picks this is that probably like red-blue splice, so they just plays shit tons of
Yeah, we really want to splice. You can splice onto this,
and you just play
find your
a
splice
couple
targets.
of the really strong and winning the game triggers for spirit reveals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Red's got some that can help you out there. And
I can definitely see that, yeah. I like that.
Otherwise, you need a...
I want to build that deck. Can we play?
Yeah, I'll print it off. But it's like, you really need the critical mass of instant sorceries. If you miss on this, it's garbage tier trash. If you have one option when you reveal the 5, it's not very good. So...
Well, that's not true. I think that's when it's going to be okay as long as you already have the splicer
stuff
in hand.
to make this matter.
So you splice this, you splice onto this while you're casting it, you go find something to splice onto again.
Like 1 and 2 mana instant sorceries are actually going to be really important in this format because you can splice.
Especially ones that replace themselves like this.
Yes. Okay, you're right. That's totally fair. Next. Petals of Insight. 4 and a blue. Sorcery Arcane. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may put them on the bottom in any order. If you do, return this to your hand. Otherwise, draw 3 cards.
You straight up lied to me.
What?
You said there was no scry.
Oh, yeah. No, but you have to put all 3.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may put those cards on the bottom of your library in any order. If you do, this goes back to your hand. Otherwise, draw 3 cards. This card's weird.
Okay, so we look at the top 3. We can take them with the last part where we put them in our hand by drawing them, or
we can choose to put them
on the bottom and put this in our hand.
Because we don't like them.
So this is another example of a card we want to splice onto. It's just 5 mana, which makes it way bad.
Yeah.
At the time, I think it was in some of the Dampened Thoughts decks just because you could recast it over and over again.
Yep. But 7 mana, just go
7
ahead.
7 mana Dampened Thoughts them, but like it's a pretty bad way to do it. It's so expensive. I don't like it.
I didn't like it either.
So now it's 4 and a blue. You may look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may put those cards in the bottom of your library in any order. Draw 3 cards. So it's sort of scry 3.
Yeah.
Draw 3.
Yeah, it's
except
like
you can't
scry a chunk of 3.
Yeah, scry these 3. You want to do it? All right.
Yeah.
Draw 3. So it's always going to draw you the 3, which is good. Mm-hmm. You can't redo the thing, but you either put them on top or bottom. Yep. Yeah, it's slightly better. 5 mana draw 3. We talked about before at sorcery speed.
It's okay.
It's okay. I don't think I want to play this card very often ever. Mm-hmm. I think it'll be in the same decks we were just talking about. I think it was
very important that I had some mass draw for these big hand decks. You've got to be able to draw cards.
Because you want to survive the early game, which costs you cards.
Yep.
And then you want to refill. And this is how you do it.
Sure. Next card is Phantom Wings, 1 and a blue, enchant creature has flying, and you can sacrifice this to return the enchanted creature to your hand. This is originally from a completely different set, and I forgot which set.
Old set, I don't remember.
Tempest, maybe? No, I don't remember.
Maybe.
There was an enchant. It was like an enchantment set.
There was a cycle.
Yeah. Anyway, cards, whatever.
I like this card. I don't think it was good. I like this card, though. Whoa, we made it better?
Good commentary.
1 and a blue. Sorry, yeah.
No, you're fine. It was cute. It was...
I just don't know. I don't know. 1 and a blue, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 in flying, and whenever enchanted creature dies, return Phantom Wings to its owner's hand. I'm surprised you didn't do something similar to the original, actually.
Nope, I wanted something like this, I think.
Okay, sure. Enchanted. This seems fine because especially if you put it on somebody like a ninja that has a hit effect, so you hit with a ninja. Well, after you hit with a ninja, it's kind of hard to hit with if they don't have evasion, so you just give it evasion afterwards. You're like, hey, get them. And that's the same idea with the guys that give unblockable. You target your ninjas after they hit once.
Yep,
and it's
exactly.
like, oh, get them. So that's nice, and then whenever it dies, you return Phantom Wings to your hand. There's a card that does something like this already. I don't know what it is, though.
Me neither.
This will be playable. +1/+1 flying is a good effect.
Next card is Psychic Puppetry. 1 and a blue for an instant arcane, tap or untap target permanent, splice an arcane for blue.
Whoa, this card's broken! Not in limited.
No.
This card's pretty bad in limited, but it has the splice effect to be able to be one of those things that slows your opponents down while you're doing the damage thoughts. So sometimes you play it in that deck, but not very often.
Yep.
It's the same.
Because it only costs blue.
It's a lot. I was say it's a lot better in our format because revealing this as a splice effect is way better in our format.
Yep. You tap their creature, you tap their land, whatever you're tapping or untapping of yours, it doesn't matter because
I think in this format this card's good.
Yeah.
But only in one deck again. And so you just have to get that deck, and then you want this really bad. So I think you'll pick this relatively highly because of that if you're in the deck.
It's also free for each instant or sorcery you cast each turn if you want multiple triggers. So here's how it works. I cast my instant or sorcery, I pay blue to splice it, untap the land that was 4, cast a new one.
Yeah.
It's not broken, it just means you can get free, quote-unquote.
Free reveals.
Requires you have stuff, but it's free reveal triggers, yes.
Yep. I like this. Yeah, it seems pretty good.
Yep, I thought it'd be interesting.
It's funny because that one's pretty bad.
Yep, it just the little changes we did really change a lot. Next is Quash, 2 blue instant.
Yeah.
Counter target instant or sorcery spell and take all the copies of that from their deck library in hand.
Known as an extraction.
Yep, this is an extraction. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's 4-mana counterspell. That also exiled it.
Only instant or sorceries.
Yeah, it was bad.
All right, new one.
Blue. Counter target non-creature spell with mana value 3 or less instant. I don't expect this to be good, but it could be a sideboard card versus the arcane deck, or not arcane, I guess.
So what they'll do is they'll
deck.
cast their cheap instant or sorcery and splice onto it, and you just go, that whole thing's gone.
They do get to keep the good card in hand that they spliced on, but you counter the whole effect.
You get the whole mana value out of it.
Yeah, you get a lot of tempo out of doing that.
Yep.
Because this only costs 1.
Exactly. Next card, Quillmane Baku. 4 and a blue for a 3/3 creature spirit. Whenever you play a spirit or arcane spell, you may put a key counter on Quillmane Baku. You can pay 1, tap it, remove X key counters from it to return target creature with converted mana cost X or less to its owner's hand.
Since this had to tap, it was pretty okay, pretty meh. But it's 5 mana 3/3, which is almost on rate at the time, actually.
It's true. It's sadly true.
So it's only a little weak,
A little bit weak.
It's weak, but this card was playable. You'd do it.
I don't like it because it's another card that's doing a return effect. There's infinite of those.
Yeah.
And it felt like they didn't know what else to do in some spots. I think that one of the things I noticed with the designs of these sets, just reminded me of it because I changed what you get, is that they actually, you can feel them not having enough ideas of what the colors can do.
Yeah.
So they repeat them every set. They're just
That's why gain life is such a problem in white. There's so many cards that have gain life in white.
Or prevent. They did a bunch of prevent, and there's a bunch of bounce. And I'm just like, there's enough bounce. We have enough bounce.
Yeah.
So it is now this.
4 and a blue for a 3/4. Got a little better. Whenever you cast a spirit spell or reveal a spirit card, put a key counter on it. 1 tap, remove X key counters. Copy target instant or sorcery spell with mana value X or less. You may choose new targets for the copy. I think that'll be fine. So you can't. Something notable is you cannot splice onto copies, right? Because you have to splice onto it as you cast it.
No. Yeah. Well, yeah. You can only splice onto. No shit.
You want to go back to a splice?
Let's go back to a splice and read. Yeah.
If you know how.
Wrong button. Okay. As you play an arcane spell.
Yep.
Yeah. So you have to do them all at the same time.
Go back to
but you can copy a spliced onto spell and get all of it.
Spliced, you get the copy with all of its text.
And you're more likely to...
That's really good.
You're more likely to copy onto cheaper spells, so you can...
It's only 1 mana.
Yeah.
This could be good, because it's good for when you reveal and when you cast. Yeah.
It's about
it's expensive.
How fast can you build up these counters, and what are the mana costs of the spells you're copying?
Yeah. Yeah, it's expensive. 5 mana, 3/4 is pretty weak. I like this card. I think it's low pick rate. I think it goes in one deck. It's one of those kinds of cards. Yep. But it can do the job.
Yep. Seems good to me. Next one. Reach Through Mists. Blue. Instant Arcane. Draw card.
Playable in the old deck. I think it's even better in our format if we have it.
Yep. It's the same exact card. It just works.
Yep,
it's really what it
does.
does.
Our job.
It triggers all of your spirit stuff. You can splice onto it very easily because it's only blue. You can get it back with Soul Shift because it's 1 mana.
It's a spirit, yeah. That's what I think it's going to be best for is Soul Shift. Even better than the Splice decks, maybe.
You can cycle it, like turn 1, cycle it, and get it. Make sure it's there to get back.
So there was an online thing on Twitter a few days ago that was talking about comparing Reach Through Mists to Demonic Tutor, and we're pretty sure Reach Through Mists is the better card. You just have to be the luckier guy.
Are you talking about in Cube?
No. Period.
I think you're... I don't even know how to answer that. Yeah.
1 mana, draw a card. 1 mana, draw a card. Demonic Tutor is just 2 mana, draw a card. This card's better.
You're right. What was I thinking? Anyway, Reduce to Dreams. 3 blue, sorcery. Return all artifacts and enchantments to their owner's hands.
This card sucks.
Yeah, it's really bad. So much mana. It's doing very little.
If this card was in Neon Dynasty, it might be alright.
And they get to keep them, too. Like, trash garbage.
Yeah, I don't like it. So non-land permanents go to their owner's hands now for 3 blue. This is interesting at the very least. It gets all the creatures, obviously, the big difference for this.
Yeah.
If we're playing a deck that likes to do ETBs, it might be okay, depending on how good the ETBs are.
Or if we're playing no creatures. Could be okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But, like, if our ETBs hit our opponent's stuff, like, affect the board state, then I like this card. If they're, like, draw card ETBs, I don't like it as much.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know. This card should be alright.
Seems good. Alright, Reweave, 5 and a blue, instant arcane, target permanent's controller sacrifices it. That player reveals cards from the top of his or her library until they reveal a card that shares a type with the sacrificed permanent, then puts it into play, and then they shuffle their library. It has Splice for 2 blue.
This is known as a polymorph effect, because the first card that did something like this was called polymorph. That only hit creatures. This hits any permanent and can get the same permanent type. I don't think it was good, but I don't think I ever saw it. It's interesting.
Well, I'll let you know we did keep it exactly the same. We used the modern text. And I'll let you know the reason why we kept it exactly the same was because there is enough material to make a polymorph deck.
Yeah.
Because of it's like the Through the Breach deck, right? We have some big creatures that could be worth doing this with. And it's again, we just like having those weird cards in there to let you try it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't about to change Through the Breach, and so I looked at this card and went, okay, then I'll keep this the same.
Sure, okay, I can believe it.
It's a little bit harder. You got to find the ways to make the tokens essentially, or have very few non-creatures or have very few creatures that are like one creature that's small.
This one's more interesting in my opinion because if you have a few creatures that are not as good in your deck, or you have a bunch of ETBs in your deck, you can just splice this over and over again. Yeah. Switch this card into a different ETB card, and then you have like one really big card in your deck that you're like, oh, I lucked into it.
Absolutely, this is a big brain card. I feel like because
I like this card.
The deck building is really hard to make it work the way you want it to. I believe that it's going to be like either the white or green deck that can make this work as like the combination, because those decks have lots of easy ways to make tokens. But
I still want to have good ETBs or huge creatures.
Right, exactly.
Or both.
All right, next one. Ribbons of the Reikai. Why am I bad at this? Sorcery, Arcane, 4 and a blue. Draw a card for each spirit you control.
This card sucks.
Yeah.
5 mana draw cards we were already down on earlier, if you didn't notice. This one is extremely situational and requires too much out of you.
Yep.
Now it is 1 mana cheaper.
Meh.
It's better. I don't think we have that many. We have the same amount of spirit creatures, so like it's still just.
We have more
as
token
rough.
making, but yeah.
More token making
by a decent bit, actually.
Okay, I'm still not convinced. I think this card's probably unplayable.
All right. Well, if we change it, we got to figure out what we change it to.
Yep.
River Kaijin. Something you got to remember, Nate. Also, is this is like 2.5 times the size of a normal set.
Yeah.
So having multiple cards that do a little bit similar, not exactly the same, does help. And so in the blue decks, I'm like, I need enough draw spells, and I wasn't sure. And I was like, well, this one can be just for the spirits, but maybe it's too bad.
Maybe just a different draw spell, yeah.
Yeah, all right. So River Kaijin is a 1/4 for 2 and a blue creature spirit.
At the time, what is it called? Horned Turtle is what this is, but it's a spirit. Was actually a pretty good blocker in limited.
Horned Turtle is I think it's a 1/4 for blue, right?
Nope.
It's 2 and a
blue? Might be 1 blue, but it might be 2 and a blue. I know it's 3 mana.
Got you. So this.
It's fine.
It's fine. Well, we did this.
I like this a lot better. So this is a play off of Omen Speaker, which is a 1/3 for 1 and a blue. ETB
no, it's a play off of the Surveil one, the 2 and a blue 1/4 that when I use Battlefield Surveil 2.
Okay, sure. If you say so.
Go ahead, sorry.
But either way, those cards are usually pretty good. Has a ETB that is not highly impactful, but definitely does something. And it's a good blocker for most of the game. I like 1/4 for 3. I have liked them a lot.
Yeah, Nate, we know.
I am a big fan. Especially,
Sailor
particularly
Means?
in blue.
Should I have just made this a Sailor Means?
Sailor Means is a good card.
Yeah, it is. I love that card.
Best common ever.
True. All right. Yep, cool.
Yeah, I'm picking this, not high, but I'm very happy to see this card all the time.
You get to return to your hand and do its thing. It's very cool. Rushing Tide Zubaira. All right, this is one of the 2 non-2 mana Zubairas that have just they just work differently. I'm not sure why they called them Zubairas, but they do have dies triggers. So this one is 2 blue for a creature Zubaira Spirit, 3/3 whenever it dies. If it was dealt 4 or more damage whenever it died, draw 3 cards. So if it was dealt more than its toughness.
Yeah. It's a 4 mana 4. A 4 mana 3/3, like, it's not nothing, I guess.
Back in the day, yeah.
It wasn't good.
Wasn't good, and you're not getting this draw trigger. So
yeah,
it's just
that's the thing, is you can't...
They won't attack into it with big creatures.
And they won't block it with big creatures.
Yeah, exactly.
So it just won't happen.
It's not. It's they had a lot of problems with triggers that just weren't going to happen.
Yeah, that's the worst thing. Is like they'll make a trigger, make it really interesting on what its effect is, and how it happens, and then you realize what it means is it just means these certain effects in game won't happen.
Yeah, it's just like
they're like, all right, then they have to choose
harder
who they
to block or
with
hard. Yeah, it's just weird.
It just means it's harder to block or something like that.
We did this instead.
So now it's a 2 blue 3/3. Whenever you cast or reveal it, scry 3. So it plays more into the other.
Into the other Zubairas that I changed as well.
Yeah, this is fine. 4 mana 3/3 is still pretty weak, but cast scry 3. We've had cards like that in limited before, and they were fine. They were usually 3 and a blue, I think. But that's okay because this one also does it on reveal.
Yeah,
I think this is playable at best, but still play. No, I shouldn't say at best. This is just playable.
Yep,
it's normal old playable.
Next card, Sakashima the Imposter, 2 blue for a 3/1 legendary creature human rogue. As it comes into play, you may choose a creature in play. If you do, it becomes a copy of that creature, except it gains 2 blue. Return this to your hand.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a clone.
It's a clone. It's a 3/1 if you don't clone.
Yeah, it's got options, and it's a clone that you can always return back to your hand to copy a bigger creature. Nice.
I've always liked Sakashima, even before Commander made her very interesting.
We left it exactly the same.
Okay. I don't know how good it'll be, but because our creatures are better, it will be better.
Yeah.
Because it coming in as a copy of something means that it's a better creature than it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be fine. I think
it's also just an iconic card.
Clones are always the big thing about clones in limited is they're always the best creature on the battlefield when they enter the battlefield. That's always a huge deal. 4 mana best creature on the battlefield is pretty nice.
Yep. Exactly. Next card, Secret Keeper, 3 and a blue for a 2/2 creature spirit. As long as you have more cards than each opponent, it gets +2/+2 and has flying.
Yeah, this card worked. It was a 4/4 flying.
It was one of the cards that you were trying to get the big hand for.
Yep. It did its job.
Yep.
I don't like it. It was good.
It was not fun to play this way, though. That was a key thing, is that the big hand deck wasn't actually a fun way to play because it meant you didn't play cards. You were told
play as few as possible.
Play as few cards as possible, including lands, and that's the only way to make this card work.
Yep. Secret Keeper is now a 1 and a blue 2/1 flyer, which is, oh my gosh, so strong. As long as you have 6 or more cards in hand, it gets +1/+2. This card is insane.
Yep.
2 mana 2 power flyers are always coming with downsides.
Yep.
This one comes with an upside.
Yep. Not the only one that came with upside. The literal last set had a 2 mana 2/1 flyer that whenever you target it with a spell, you draw a card.
Was that rare?
No, it wasn't. It was an uncommon.
That card is insane. I remember it.
Yeah, but it's just forgettable.
Yeah, I thought it was rare.
Nope, that card was fun though. But
okay, yeah, they're really good though. These cards are always good.
Yes. I want this card to be very good.
Yeah, it's good. You picked this pretty high, honestly. The Vampire Interloper was
great.
Pick one almost.
Okay, in that format, specifically. So here's 2 things. One, flyers were worse back in the original Innistrad.
I'm talking about this last Innistrad.
No, I'm about to get to that. This last Innistrad has a bunch of triggers that care about you having hit them this turn.
Yeah.
That's why that card was such a high pick.
That's what, yeah.
Otherwise, it's okay.
I'm just talking about it. That particular card was pack one, pick oneable.
Yes.
So Yes. 2 mana 2/1 flyers are good. Is the point?
Yep. Oh,
clearly. That card couldn't block.
Yep. I want some beatdowns in tempo options for these decks.
Yeah, I like Secret Keeper. This looks amazing.
Next card, Shapestealer, blue for a 1/1 creature, Shapeshifter Spirit. Whenever it blocks or becomes blocked by a creature, it gets that creature's power and toughness.
This is a cool card. It was very good at blocking. Generally speaking, in that format, creatures have higher toughness than power on like a very common rate. Like it was either
so it's
the
just
same.
making your opponent's stuff no matter how big it is bounce.
Yep, exactly. Shapestealer was just blue, best blocker you can imagine.
Yep, and I decided to keep it very similar.
Yeah, I like it.
Make it 1 and a blue. I don't know. It doesn't need to be blue. I'd like it to be able to something you can actually cast on turn 2. And I want to keep it because the point is blue needs some good blockers to make the decks that I've gotten here work.
And the way you've built this format, it does not do that as much. The toughnesses are not as often bigger than the power,
it's
but
more,
I think it is more
dispersed.
It's more than most sets.
But if it trades, it's still good.
The thing I'm trying to say is that this card usually back then never attacked. I think you might be able to attack with it in this set. If you can attack with it in this set, it's because they don't want to block it, which means you can ninjutsu it.
That's true. That's very true.
Being 1 and a blue, I love. I don't want no blue stuff.
Shifting Borders is 3 and a blue for an instant arcane. Exchange control of 2 target lands, splice into arcane, 3 and a blue.
This card's unplayable in every concept of the word. It never does anything. It never did anything back then. I don't understand at all.
I don't know why this card exists. Anyway, it's this.
Now it's a sorcery. 3 and a blue. Put target non-land permanent on top of its owner's library. Splice into instant or sorcery. 3 and a blue. This card is very dangerous. So this does the thing that I've talked about before, where you get to put their bad cards on top of their library. But this one has splice.
Yes.
So you can do this many times.
Yep. That's why
it is expensive.
It's a lot of mana.
It is a lot of mana. So I do appreciate that about it. I do think I will play this card because there will be games where I do this 3 times and you lose because of it.
Yep.
Yeah, this will be a pretty good card. Even so let's even just wipe that off and be like, this is 4 mana. To do that card is playable. The card's already playable.
Sorcery. Those are usually instants.
Yeah, this is weak. At that, it's still playable.
Yeah.
So I think this is quite a good card. I'd pick this very early.
Sounds good. It is the good removal from blue.
Yeah.
All right, next card. Shimmering Glassskite is 3 and a blue for a 2/3 flying that has the Glassskite ability where whenever it gets targeted by a spell ability the first time each turn, counter that spell ability.
Yeah, this card was fine. Yep. It wasn't good, but it was fine. Now it is swapping its power and toughness. 3 and a blue for a 3/2 flying whenever it gets targeted by a spell or ability for the first time each turn, counter it. 3 power flyers at 4 are very strong. Yep. This card's very strong.
Chose to make it this way because I want it to be, I didn't get the other finishers, let's use this finisher. Yep. Or this is just in the list of blue finishers that we're going to be going for.
Yep, and it's a finisher in a different sense than some of the other ones because it's only 4 mana, so it starts picking at them pretty early.
Yep. Next card is Shinnin of Flight Swing, 4 and a blue for a 3/3 flying. Creature Spirit has channel blue. Target creature gains flying until end of turn when you discard it.
Yeah, this card was not great, but you played it because flyers...
You gotta have flyers, yeah.
Now it's 1 and a blue for a 2/1 flying. It can only block creatures with flying. So the other kind of thing we were talking about, Vaporkin is what this is. It's 1 and a blue for a 2/1 that can only block flyers that has flying. That kind of thing. 2 blue, discard it. Creatures you control gain flying until end of turn. Instead of target creature, gives it to all of them.
But it costs a bunch of mana.
Card can win the game, obviously, off the channel. This card I like a lot. I mean, I love me a Vaporkin. The channel will just be like, oh, I drew it late. It's a lot worse right now. How about this? Let's jump!
As you'll notice as we go through all of them is, you'll see that there's a decent number of these, make my stuff hard to block. And that's because of how good a lot of the blocking is. Even with all the changes I've made, there's so many great blockers in this format that I want these breakthroughs. You gotta be able to get through.
Yeah, I also like this kind of card. 2 mana, 2/1 flyers, good with freaking ninjas.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
other one too. You're gonna love them with ninjas.
Yeah, I just thought the other design, there was enough 5 mana cards, there was enough flyers in different rates. We want to make this one the aggressive one.
Yeah, I like it.
Next card, Sift Through Sands is 1 blue for instant arcane. Draw 2 cards, then discard a card.
No other text.
And then, if you played a spell named Peer Through Depths and a spell named Reach Through Mist this turn, you may search your library for a card named The Unspeakable and put it into play.
Alright, you never got The Unspeakable Unlimited, obviously.
Not a chance.
The Unspeakable did not work in Standard either, or any other format.
No.
The Unspeakable was not a card.
It was
Unspeakable.
Don't worry about it.
The draw 2 discard a card portion of this card is relatively weak. You just don't like this card, in my opinion.
Now it's
1 blue. Draw 2 cards and then discard a card. Whenever you cast Sift Through Sands, if it's the 3rd spirit you've cast this turn, search your library for a spirit card and cast it without paying its mana cost, then shuffle. This card will be very strong, I think. Obviously, you do have to cast 2 other spirits, so it costs you mana and cards to get there.
And you have to cast this last.
And you only get 1 free spirit out of your deck, so your best spirit has to be pretty good for it to be worth it. Yeah, this card will be, I said very strong. I think it will not be quite what I said. It'll just be good. I think you can make it happen.
I think it fits into that deck where you're also you're trying to cheat your big boys.
Yeah.
So you've got your
through the breach,
your
reweave.
This is part of that deck.
Sure, yeah.
Gives you an option. Like, having cards like this too in that reweave lets you play less actual creatures so that you can do it. So, alright, next card. Sire Storm. 4 blue for a 3/3 flying. Creature spirit. Whenever you play a spirit arcane spell, draw a card. You may draw a card.
Yeah, this card's good. This card was good.
Yeah, it's good. It looks good.
It's a 6 mana flyer that's not small.
Not a bad body.
Not big.
Not great,
it's not small.
but it's at least not
just
irrelevant.
draws a bunch of cards. You know, that's what you want.
Just a good card, yeah.
All right, 4 blue 3/3 flying. Whenever you cast a spirit spell or reveal a spirit card, you may draw a card. 2 blue, reveal it to draw a card. As a forecast. This card's really good. It's 6 mana, which might be tough. I'm not sure. It might be really broken. This card's hard
6
to
mana for
evaluate
3/3 though.
Yeah, it's 6 mana 3/3, which is a lot worse than it used to be.
Removal's so much better in my version. Of
This card I think is just good. I think I like this card a lot.
Alrighty, next one. Soramaru, First to Dream. 4 blue for a star flying legendary creature spirit. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your hand, and you may pay 4 and return a card. You may pay 4 and return a land you control to its owner's hand and draw a card.
Okay, this card was a flyer with hand size things. This
big,
card's insane.
Big flyer. You can draw cards too.
The 4 return a land to its owner's hand, draw a card. You probably only use when you win the game with this card. Probably.
It's 4 mana draw card.
I mean, I was gonna say it's actually not bad.
Back in the day, 4 mana draw card.
As long as you have nothing else to do, I think it's good.
Yeah.
And you often didn't want to do anything else, so yeah, it's a good card.
He's really good at making your hand size bigger too.
Yeah, crazy good card. So now it's 4 blue for a star with your hand size, and now the ability to return a permanent you control to its owner's hand and draw a card only costs 3.
That's it.
Card should be pretty good, I think.
Yep. I decided, obviously, the paying mana to draw cards on things has gotten worse. So I just made it slightly cheaper, but the rest of it I thought was good enough.
Yeah.
It's a big flyer.
Yeah, I like this card.
It can be a big flyer, sorry. It's not always going to be a big flyer.
Yeah, right. It should be.
It was your last card, it just dies, but whatever.
That is something big that important to notice, so that you cannot play it as your last card.
Exactly. These cards, you actually do need a deck that can have a hand size. So.
Yeah, I think that card should be pretty good.
Yep. Alright, next card. Soratami Cloud Skater. 1 and a blue for a 1/1 flying. Creature Moonfolk Rogue. Has 2. Return a land you control to its owner's hand. Draw a card, then discard a card.
Yeah, these just all were bad. All Moonfolk
This is the one I like. You know why? You want to know why I like it?
Because you can discard the land.
You can discard the land.
Returned. Yeah, I like that. I like that too. This card probably was one of the better ones. You doing it again? Just with the return of permanent? Yeah.
Yep, same card.
Yeah, I like it. I think I just don't remember seeing it for some reason.
It's okay.
I didn't play that much.
It's probably not that great. It's nice.
It just does its job.
Yeah, it does its job. It's nice.
It has flying 1/1. Nice. I like that.
It'll be alright, yeah. Soratami Minesweeper. 3 and a blue for a 1/4 flying. Creature Moonfolk. 2, return a land you control to its owner's hand. Target player mills 2 cards.
Wow, bad. Now it's a 2 and a blue for a 1/4 flying. Same size.
Yeah,
1/4.
Cost 1 less. Yeah.
Plus 1, well, yeah, 1 less mana. 2, return a permanent you control to its owner's hand. Target player mills 3 cards. So it mills 1 more, and you can get permanents back to your hand instead. This card goes in the mill deck, and I don't think anywhere else.
Yep, makes sense. Next card, Soratami Mirror Guard. 3 and a blue for a 3/1 flying creature Moonfolk. 2, return a land you control to its owner's hand. Target creature with power 2 or less is unblockable this turn.
This card's good. It's a 4 mana 3 power flying.
Yeah, we liked that. That was really important back then.
It's just good.
And it could make your smaller creatures unblockable, which was nice if you wanted to go for an alpha.
Yeah, this card's just good. Okay, now.
But we didn't do it.
Yeah, I don't like having more unblockable stuff.
I didn't like that. I really didn't like that.
So 3 and a blue for a 3/1 flying, I still like that. 2, return permanent you control to its owner's hand, scry 2. I don't like that, but it does the return thing, so if we want to return really badly, this card's really good. And it is still 4 mana for 3 power flying, you know?
Yep.
I still am okay with those sometimes.
You're still getting scry value, but it's not like what you're trying to do. You're
right,
just
exactly.
getting extra value after it. It's
It's
like
the lower end of those.
What's it
cards,
called?
I think.
It's like the sack a creature scry one guys.
Yeah.
You're really trying to sack creatures, but scry is nice.
Nice, yeah. We're happy with it.
Alright, next Soratami Mirror Mage, 3 and a blue, 2/1 flying creature Moonfolk, has 3, return 3 lands you control to their owner's hand, return target creature to its owner's hand.
Oh crap. Bad.
Yeah,
so much cost.
Wow, holy shit.
So much cost.
That asks infinite things of you.
Yeah. Now it is 2 blue for a 2/2 flying. 3, return 3 permanents you control to their owner's hands. Create a token that is a copy of a creature you control. I'm not certain. I think this card is not good. I think this card's not good, but you build around it and make something cool happen, and I like it anyways. Yep,
exactly.
This card's really low on my radar, but I still think it does something very cool.
Repeatable, just by mana, making token copies. You got 6 lands, just tap them all and return them to your hand to make copies of better creatures.
Yeah, that's quite
Now
good.
that's a good thing to do, but I'm just saying you always have this option.
Yeah, it could
and
be.
This card,
it's another one where, you know what? Sometimes it wins you the game.
Yeah, or you just pay 3 mana, return a land or 2 lands and one other thing, and then make a copy of it.
I hadn't gotten to the point yet of realizing that, like, just like the other ones, this one's the game.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you're like, I don't need lands anymore. I need creatures to win the game. I'm going to go win the game. Here we go. Let's win the game.
Next one, Soratami Rainshaper, 2 and a blue for a 2/1 flying creature, Moonfolk Wizard. 3, return a land you control to its owner's hand. Target creature gets Shroud until end of turn.
All right. This one's not bad.
This one's good. This is the good one.
This one's 2/1 flying. You know, we're okay with that. It's not great for 3 mana, but it sort of exists. It's usable. The ability to give something Shroud at instant speed is great.
Amazing.
It means that anytime you have 3 mana up, your opponent just can't cast removal spells.
Yep.
And, like, I hate that. As I've said, made clear before.
Oops.
I hate that.
Fuck, oops.
It only costs 2 mana now.
Oops.
Man, this card is really, really strong.
Yeah.
But also, at the same time, like, really annoying to use. Because always having to have 2 mana open to make sure your creatures don't die is annoying as hell.
Yep.
That's why I don't like these cards very
Reminds
much.
me of the Reaper of the Wilds.
Yeah. It feels like that, except for we're targeting all of our creatures instead of just...
That's true.
it.
That's true. Next one, Soratami Savant, 2 blue for a 2/2 flying creature, Moonfolk Wizard. 3, return a land you control to its owner's hand, counter target spell its controller pays 3. Let's go to the next one.
It costs 4?
Yeah, I thought it was annoying. No, we'll
You should change that.
We'll change that one just because you said so. I think I'm making these changes, and I'm glad you're here to go over this with me. It's one of the things I wanted to do because I forgot that those abilities don't happen.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought that. I don't know why my brain... I just forgot it, so those will need to change.
Yeah.
Alright, this one I love. So, 4 and a blue for a 2/3 flying. 4, return 2 lands you control to their owner's hand. Discard your hand, then draw that many cards.
Whew! That's interesting.
Yeah, isn't it?
I like that card.
Me too.
I think 4 is a lot.
Yeah.
This card's really good late game.
Yeah.
I think this card probably saw a little bit of play. Not very much, though.
Seems cool, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's the exact same, but except we have power now.
Yeah,
We
permanents.
got the power.
We can return permanents, and we shuffle our hand into our library instead of
discarding them.
so we don't die.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
They also don't get to know what we had.
True.
Huh. I think this card's, again, a little weak. Just like I think it was there.
Yeah.
Because of just size.
But it's so cool.
But it's really cool.
You delay it,
I wanna
go to
play
your
that card.
library.
I want to play that card.
Yeah, you do. Gotta survive, though. Don't die.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't have a really good rating for it, sorry.
Me neither. I think it's probably not great. I mean, that's why I bumped it a little bit to a 3/3 flying,
3/3,
so
yeah.
it could have relevance. I just love the ability. I think it's
Oh, it's
so
a really
cool.
sweet ability.
It's so cool to be like...
Because, like, okay, so they're like, if any people need explanation,
Yeah.
the cards are, particularly with Soratami Seer, the original, you're returning 2 lands to your hand, and that made your hand size bigger. So now you get to draw more cards off of its ability because it's like, oh, it checks this hand size that you're discarding.
And you draw that many
those 2
cards.
lands and you draw that many.
And it's also
lands
like...
suck, so you're like...
Yeah, you played all your lands. You have a bunch of lands, 7, 8, 9 lands, and you're just like, I would rather have cards.
And that's what a lot of the Soratami are doing, is they're like, oh, I would rather have effect rather than land. The problem with them in practice is that that doesn't happen
You're
as
investing
much.
way more than you need to, and it's just you're not doing it.
You also don't get to that many lands as much as you'd think.
But this one is saying, let's trade lands for actual cards.
Yeah,
So it's like you're sacrificing lands for cards. It's really good.
That's exactly what it's like.
Yeah. All right, next card, Squelch. 1 in a blue, instant, counter target, activated ability, draw a card. Bad.
Activated triggered ability.
Yeah.
Draw a card.
There you go.
It's still not great, but you have some situations where it'll be really cool. You can counter, like somebody has the Myojin, and like you counter the triggered ability they're activating off of removing the indestructible counter or something. Like you have some cool things you can do with it.
Totally.
It's not common. I don't think that you'll be happy with this card. But
Nope, but I just didn't see a reason to change it.
I love this card.
I just added the extra text so it'd be flexible so people, if they want to play it, I don't know.
You can counter like ETBs. Just normal ETBs.
Stream of Consciousness, 1 in a blue, instant, arcane. Target player shuffles up to 4 target cards from his or her graveyard into his or her library.
Would you believe that this was also in the Dampened Thoughts deck?
But yeah, I can believe it because you're just sitting there doing nothing forever. You don't want to die. And what if your opponent has Dampened Thought? Then you got to get going.
That was the big thing. It was mostly for the mirror. You didn't always play it, but you could.
So bad. So bad. Well, anyway.
Shuffle any number target creature or number target cards from graveyards into their owner's libraries. Draw a card for 2 in a blue. This is much better. We've seen cards like this very recently. I like them.
Yep. If you're very, very slow, you're worried about milling out, or
you have very specific spells you like.
Or you're blue, but also playing against the mill. No.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But it's mostly if you're hella slow playing the big hand deck, you're probably drawing a lot of cards, so you kind of want to not die.
Yeah.
Next card, Student of Elements. 1 in a blue. For a 1/1, when it has flying, you get to flip it into a 3/3 that says all creatures you control have flying.
This card's really cool. It was a build around. You
needed to find a way to give it flying.
It's the same-ish, except for it costs 1 mana.
Yep.
And then that's it.
And the rest of it's all the same.
It just costs 1 card. I don't know how much.
It's not happening very often. It's not happening often enough. There's a couple of cards that give flying. There's that enchantment,
Phantom Wings.
The Phantom Wings. There's the tattered shoji thing also gives flying.
Channel gives all your guys flying.
Yep. There's a couple of different ways to give flying, but not a ton.
Yeah, I expect this card to not be very good, but
it was cute though. I loved its design.
I also really liked
I couldn't find a good reason to change it, so it's a 1/1 for 1 that can maybe become big.
Yep.
You're probably not playing it too often, but if you can
Phantom Wings this on turn 2, you're like, boom.
If you have a couple of ways, you gotta have a couple ways. But if you get them, it could be good. It's gonna wheel anyway.
This plus Phantom Wings is a turn 2 4/4 flyer that later on will also give all your other stuff flying.
Exactly. Next card, Sway of the Stars. 8 blue sorcerer. Each player shuffles his or her hand, graveyard, and permanents they own into their library and draw 7 cards. Each player's life total becomes 7.
This card's Bandit Commander.
It's so annoying. It resets the game.
It resets the game at 7 life each.
Because you lose your lands. They go to your library too.
Yeah, you both lose everything. Well, everybody loses everything, depending on how many players you're playing with.
Yeah.
And everybody goes to 7. This card's stupid. I don't have much to say about that version. We're going with 8 green blue. It costs 1 less for each card in your hand. Each player shuffles their hand, graveyard, and non-land permanents into their library, then draws 7 cards. Each player's life total becomes 7. Exile Sway of the Stars. So very similar. Exile. They didn't have that on the original. Man.
Yeah, crazy,
they really
right?
weren't thinking ahead.
They were not thinking ahead.
But, because this resolves and goes to the graveyard afterwards.
Yes, it does.
Oh, man. Okay.
It's really annoying.
Well, the point is, this is going to be a lot cheaper, so it will be castable whenever we're playing in the high hand deck. This could go down to 3 mana, even with normal just 7 card hand size. It could go even cheaper, obviously.
It also, it's okay, first of all, obviously, it doesn't put lands back, too.
Right.
So we're not resetting the game entirely.
Right.
Also, cute. It costs 1 less for each card in your hand, so it costs 1 less for each less card you're gaining.
Yes, usually these kinds of cards, what they do is you go down to 0 cards and then you play something like this, to
refill.
a time twister effect, and you refill, especially with something that keeps your lands. So you're like, all right, I was at 0 cards, now I'm at 7. You went from 4 to 7. Look, I gained all this value, and I also got rid of all your non-land permanents that were so cool. So this card rewards you for not doing that as much, which is pretty interesting in my opinion. I think this card is not very playable in most decks, but I think there will be decks that want it,
Yep, this green-blue ramp deck could care if it can actually cast 10 mana or 7 mana spells or whatever.
I was going to say, especially because you're I'm at 8 lands, you're at 5, I'm gaining a lot.
Good question I have is, how does it work? If this is in your hand, does it reduce itself or no, it doesn't reduce itself?
It does.
It does, okay. Yeah, it does, right?
I'm going to go with yes.
Okay, so it's always 9 or less. Well, no, if you cast it from somewhere else, but you get the idea.
I'm going to go with it does. I'm not certain, actually.
Could always look it up at some point.
I'm usually right about that stuff.
Yeah, Swirl the Mists, 2 blue enchantment. As it comes into play, choose a color. All instances of color words on spells and permanents become the chosen color word.
That's a super interesting card.
Yeah.
Holy crap. I don't even know if it does anything. I feel like it doesn't do anything.
It's weird.
It definitely didn't see a play unlimited.
If you have a blue, red, black, green, white, on any card that says that word becomes the color you choose.
So the main thing that this does in this format, I think, is protections of some sort.
Something
like that. So there's you're playing a blue-white deck, you're playing against a red-black deck. You change all the protections to say you choose the color word. The color word you choose is red. So now their things that were protection from you are now only protection from red, and your things are all protection from red that said protection at all.
Yeah.
And that's only very specific because you have to talk about the protection cards only pretty much. Yeah.
Right.
Card's not good.
Yep. No, I agree. All right. So it's completely different.
All right. Blue enchantment. Whenever Swirl the Mists enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token. The first activated ability you activate each turn costs 4 generic mana less to activate. Whoa, that is a lot less. It's cool with Moonfolk, obviously. That's, I think, the main point here because you made it to where it works to make any of your Moonfolk abilities free. That's very interesting.
The first one.
By free, I don't mean it doesn't return things, though. So
yeah, it still returns something, but you're going to return this. Because you can re-trigger it with get a creature again.
And also, so the main thing that I really do like about how this is designed, it may not be you tried to do this, but it just kind of happens this way, is to say you play your Swirl the Mists.
Yes.
You get your 1/1. You use the ability to return it.
Yes.
Off of your amazing Moonfolk that has some cool ability. You
do
the cool ability off your Moonfolk. You play this again, you cannot, again, get a free ability.
First. It says first.
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. And that's just
Good.
Really good.
Yes.
Keeps it in check. You can't just be like, all right, for every 2 blue I have, I get to Swirl the Mists and my ability.
No. We don't love that.
This is a cool card. I think this card is... So it's a 1/1 for 2 that has that ability.
Yep.
Is this good?
It's definitely better than that, but yeah.
No, this is not that good. I think this card is playable because of the whole replayable ability. You get 1/1s whenever you sweep and all that.
I want to add one more thing that you might be forgetting that it can do. Now, clearly, it's like, you can retrigger ETBs if you have like sweep or all that stuff, and then you can make... Splice is an activated ability.
Okay, sure. That helps.
Yeah.
I still think it's only
I think
playable.
that making your splice abilities cheaper is very important for a splice deck if it's going to really work.
Sure.
Because they're expensive,
Some of them are, yeah. Especially the best one we just talked about, the blue one that costs 4 to put a thing on top. It's just 1 mana. That's really strong. Yeah. But only once.
The first time.
But I mean, once each turn is what you want with that card.
Exactly.
You're going to be just putting the same crap on top of their deck,
Yep.
So, yeah, this card is just playable, I think.
Yeah. No, it doesn't need to be broken.
It just needs things.
It's just... I think it's really good at being a part of all the decks.
Of many different decks. Yeah,
many
different decks.
It's really bad at, you would never play this on its own. It's just...
Well, yeah.
No, I'm saying you would never play, you need to be really doing it.
Yeah.
A decent number of Moonfolk,
or
a bunch of Splice, or a bunch of ways to return to your hand that are worth it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Teardrop Kami is blue for a 1/1 creature spirit. You can sack it to untap or untap target permanent.
I think this wasn't good, but I also remember something about Teardrop Kami. I don't quite remember what it was.
Seems so bad.
I don't think it was good, but I can't quite remember.
So bad. It's even it's worse than the Dreamcatcher that you sack to draw a card.
Draw this card, right?
No, it's draw a card. The original version is it's blue for a 1/1. Whenever you cast Spirit Arcane spell, you can sack it to draw a card.
Oh yeah.
That card's a little bit better than this one.
Yeah, this card's not good.
It's now this.
Now it's 1/1 flying for blue. Whenever it enters the battlefield, scry 2.
This card's great.
2? Could be scry 1. This card's really good.
Mm-hmm. It's that fairy.
It's that fairy, yeah.
Yeah, it's that fairy. Because we're playing ninjutsu, so you get to have that fairy.
Okay, we'll go ninja. We're going to play this, and then it's going to ninja. And it'll do its spirit thing every time you replay it. And it's going to ninja. Yeah, this card's really strong. You're going to want it for those decks.
And the Moonfolk
deck.
and the sweep, yeah.
Yep.
Next card, Teller of Tales, 3 blue for a 3/3 flying creature spirit. Whenever you play a Spirit or Arcane spell, tap or untap target creature.
This card was fine.
Seems like it was decent. Seems like a decent card in Unlimited. 5 mana, 3/3 flying that can tap down stuff or untap your stuff and give it vigilance, essentially.
Yep.
Absolutely fine.
3 blue now for a 3/4 flying. Whenever you cast a spirit spell or reveal a spirit spell, tap or untap target permanent. But it has forecast, blue, reveal, tap or untap target permanent. Because of the forecast, I think this card will be quite good. Mm-hmm. You can play this and it will be also fine.
It can be a free forecast.
Yeah, exactly. It could be one of the 1 mana free forecasts that untaps itself,
Yep.
Like the way that the other one was a free splice.
Yep.
So it'll be doing that job quite well.
Oh, is Trinia home?
Yeah.
Hold up. Hey, Trinia.
Hey.
You're home.
Yes.
How's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
Pretty good.
Hey.
Oh.
Oh, there's an Amazon package for you.
Yeah, that's the charger.
That's why Dog
Or charge pack.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Dougie. Okay.
So you guys already eaten everything?
Nope.
We're planning on doing it as soon as we're done with blue.
Yeah, once we're done with blue.
When that'll be.
We're in tea.
8:30.
I'm aware.
Yep,
It
we're
should
aware.
be soonish.
Okay.
Okay, next one. The Unspeakable. 6 blue for a 6/7 flying trample legendary creature spirit. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may return an arcane card from your graveyard to your hand.
That's just too much.
I don't understand why, even with those cards, right? I don't understand how this one has such bad text, really, comparatively. Even back then, this is weak. This is very weak.
Yeah.
Yes, you could cheat it, but
cheating it was hard.
Clearly, it was really, really hard to cheat it with the 3 different spells.
Yeah.
It's just really weird to me they chose to do it this way. I would have expected that, and this is the only change I would have expected. It doesn't put it in your hand; it casts it.
Well, I would have expected it to be a little bit bigger.
Bigger is fine. I don't think that since it's a blue creature that they would want it to be bigger.
Yeah, you're probably right. I don't know. It's weird.
Here's what I did.
All right, now it's 6 quad blue for 6/7 spirit legendary creature. It costs 1 less to cast for each spirit in your graveyard. That also includes our instants and sorceries. Mm-hmm. Flying. I already said that maybe. Whenever it enters the battlefield, cast any number of spirit, instant, and sorcery cards from your graveyard without paying their mana costs. Exile them as they resolve. This card is very strong. It gets down to 5-6 mana very easily, I feel like. And when you cast it, you get a 6/7 flying that casts a lot of spells out of your graveyard. This card is a bomb, but it's a little expensive as a bomb. You know, it's one of the end game bombs, but it should win the game.
Yep. Yeah, I like it a lot. It feels big. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can do the cheating stuff with it. There's cards that cheat it if you really want to do that. But
oh yeah, I guess you can cheat this. That's really.
But the ETB, you know, is less strong if you have less stuff in your graveyard to hit. So
yeah, this card I think will be the strongest card in the set. I assume.
Like strength wise itself, not like value or
right.
like
if you cast the unspeakable, you win games more often than any other card. I'm thinking
that's probably fair. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Next card, Thoughtbind. 2 and a blue, instant, counter target spell with converted mana cost 4 or less.
Playable. Got one cheaper. I like it.
Yep.
This is 1 and a blue instant. Now counter target spell with mana value 4 or less. Yeah, this card seems good.
Yep, seems good. It works. Threads of Disloyalty. 1 blue, aura, enchant creature. It can only enchant creatures with power 2 or with converted mana cost 2 or less. Sorry, it's Tarmogoyf. You control enchanted creature.
The big thing about this was in Modern, it had Tarmogoyf. There were some things it didn't standard, but not a lot.
Yeah,
it's
mostly because of Tarmogoyf. It was really, really good, and I didn't change it because it has a lot of history behind it.
I'm not sure what the applications are in Limited. I feel like it's bad, but it may not be.
I want to point one thing out. There are way more 2-drops now than there originally were.
You lessened a lot of costs down to 2. That's true.
And so
whenever you play Threads of Disloyalty,
there are also 2-drops in this format that can snowball. So
whenever you play Threads of Disloyalty and it works, you have to, if you don't play a lot of Limited or anything, mind controls are extremely strong because it's a removal spell for whatever their creature is.
Because they lose their creature, and then you gain one.
It's like a Ravenous Chupacabra. It's a ETB kill target creature, but the ETB is their guy.
Yeah, so you get to be the It's very, very strong.
Yeah.
Time stop 4 blue, instant, end the turn. It has a bunch of text on what end the turn means, so if you've never seen this before, as an instant speed, what it does, it removes all spells and abilities from the stack, which means it'll counter those spells, and those abilities will not resolve. The player whose turn it is discards down to their maximum hand size, then damage wears off, and end of turn effects happen.
That was not played in Limited. This card's sweet.
It is a super cool design. I kept it exactly the same because it's a cool design. What
else
was I going to do with this card? It's probably not good and limited, though. But
yep, that's okay. I don't care.
Toils of Night and Day is 2 and a blue, instant arcane. Tap or untap target permanent. Then choose another one. Tap or untap target, another target permanent. That's it.
Sometimes got played in the Dampened Thoughts deck. It's an arcane spell that can slow the game down.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yep.
We didn't do that.
Now it's blue, tap target creature. It doesn't untap during its controller's next untap. Instant speed, just frost something.
Yep.
With Splice of Blue. This card is very strong. Mm-hmm. The Splice of Blue really does it.
I think that Splice should be 1 in a blue, but
you can change that.
I can change that another time.
Yeah, you should.
But really I did want this to be a frost effect, though.
Yeah, that's really good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. This card, I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah, that Splice should be 1 in a blue.
Powerful. Good Splice card.
Yeah, good card.
Next card, Tomorrow. Azami's Familiar is 5 and a blue for a 1/5 legendary creature spirit. If you would draw a card, you instead look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of those in your hand, the rest on the bottom of your library any turn, or in any order. So what happens with this card is if you draw multiple cards, you one at a time for each card you would draw.
Yep.
Look at the top 3, choose one, put the rest on the bottom.
Yep. It's a really strong effect, but it's on a 6 mana 1/5 with no evasion or anything.
That's
not good enough in Limited ever.
It's really bad.
Especially because it doesn't give you value. It just gives you card selection.
Good card selection.
Very good card selection, but not good enough. Now it is 5 and a blue for a 5/5, so it got a lot bigger. Spirit, Ward 2. If you don't know what Ward does, it means whenever it would be targeted by a spell or ability, spell or ability gets countered unless that player who controls the spell or ability pays 2. It only comes, whenever we're talking about that, it only comes from opponents that you care. So your own can go just fine. If you would draw 1 or more cards, instead draw that many plus 2, then put 2 cards from your hand on the bottom of your library. So it does sort of a brainstorm effect for your draws instead of drawing, but instead of putting the extra cards on top, they go on bottom. This card is extremely strong. Its version of card selection is stronger than Tomorrow.
You can put bad cards that are in your hand on the bottom.
Because instead of just looking at the top 3 and choosing it from among those, you get to look at the top 3 and the rest of your hand and choose from among those to put something on the bottom.
However, if you draw 3 cards, you are not anticipating 3 times. You're adding 2 to it and then putting back stuff.
Yes, so it also is a lot cleaner.
You won't see as many cards when you draw in bulk.
Yep.
But it'll resolve way cleaner.
Yeah.
This is like if you play a draw 3 spell with the original Tomorrow out, it's really annoying.
Yeah.
It takes forever. This one's so much faster.
You draw 5,
just
put
take
2
2
away.
extra cards and put 2. Yeah, this is amazing clean in my opinion.
It still takes a little while because the decision might be a little harder.
Decision, but it's easier.
The decision's harder, but it's easier physically.
Yeah.
And the Ward 2 is very nice on this. I think this card's very strong.
I also think it's a more fun ability too.
Yeah, I'll want this card. 5 mana, 5 or 6 mana, 5/5s are fine.
Yep, in blue, yeah. Well, you got to take what you can get.
Yeah, big.
All right, Trusted Advisor. Blue for a 1/2. Your maximum hand size is increased by 2. Beginning of your upkeep, return a blue creature you control to its owner's hand.
This card's very bad. The returning a creature had to be a positive, otherwise this card's never going to work. So.
And that first text is nonsense.
Yeah.
Next version.
Blue, you have no maximum hand size. It's a 2/3. What do you even mean by that?
Yeah,
beginning of your upkeep, return a creature you control to its owner's hand, which can be upside in this set. This card is very strong. It does not even have Defender.
Check the secret tech out. Just return it and get your honor triggers over and over again.
Yeah. Or and honestly, just block with it while you're like, oh my gosh, my opponent's board is full of 2/2s. I don't have anything to bring back.
Return it every turn.
Play it.
Yeah, it costs extra mana, but you're triggering everything. So
yeah, it's nice. I like this card a lot. I think playing this on like turn 1 on the draw after your opponent plays a 1/1 is like so
totally
rude.
fine.
So rude.
Just super rude, totally fine.
You're like, I'm
return
gonna
it,
bounce
don't
back.
even play
I don't
it
even
again.
care.
Yeah, you play something else. Just like good first turn, block your shit.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, next card. Twin cast, blue, instant, copy target, instant sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy.
I never saw anybody do this with Dampened Thoughts because it's rare, so I never saw that. But I don't know, it's bad.
Same card. I like it.
It's iconic.
It's iconic. I also really like it because Splice. It's cool.
Yeah, it can be good with Splice, obviously. This does the same thing we were talking about before, where whenever you copy something, it keeps all the Splice text. So,
which is really cool. I don't know how good this is. Probably not very good, but it's cool.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. Uyo Silent Prophet, 4 for a 4/4 flying legendary creature Moonfolk Wizard. Has 2, return 2 lands you control to their owner's hand to copy target instant sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy.
Uyo is popular in Commander because she is one of the more interesting, like, repeatable copy effects in the format.
Doesn't make you tap her. You can just do it.
She's a 4/4 flying for 6. That's not bad, actually.
Yeah.
I think she would be good and limited if she was. We changed it slightly. It's 4 blue for 4/4 flying. Now it only costs 1 mana and return 2 permanents still to their owner's hands. Copy target instant sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Still the same stuff we were talking about with Twin Cast. Interesting. Only costs 1 mana to do it. I think this card will be good.
Still gotta return 2 stuff.
You want it in the deck that's going to do the copy stuff. 6 mana 4/4 flying is not amazing. It would still be played in the other decks, I think, if you need something like that.
Yes.
But the copy thing you want to be good.
Yep. Next card, Veil of Secrecy. 1 and a blue, instant arcane. Target creature is unblockable and can't be the target of spells or abilities until on the turn. Splice into arcane. Return a blue creature you control to its owner's hand.
Interesting splice. I like these interesting splices.
It's like a ninja. Cool. It's like a ninja splice.
Yeah.
Because you return something to protect something.
This actually might be better in our version. It seems pretty weak in their version.
Yeah.
In the old version.
But it is cool.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So now it's the same except for cost blue for a tribal instant spirit. If you control an island, target creature gains hexproof until on turn and can't be blocked. So it's hexproof instead of shroud, which I like better. And then splice onto instant sorcery, return a creature you control to its owner's hand. So it doesn't have to be a blue creature, but you have to control an island for it to work. Yeah, this is pretty good. It's obviously protection. That's the big thing here.
Yes.
Is like you get to counter removal spells with this. The 2 mana version also did this.
Yep.
This was probably the bigger thing it did back then.
Yeah.
And now it can be used quite well as splice to give you a ninja going on. You can also splice to just hit in for a lot. Yeah, this seems all right. I like this card.
Yep. Next card, Walker of Secret Ways. 2 and a blue for a 1/2 creature human ninja. Has ninjutsu for 1 and a blue. And whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you get to look at their hand. You may also pay 1 and a blue to return target ninja you control to its owner's hand, but you can only do that on your turn.
Returning your ninjas to your hand is very interesting because it means you're able to do the whole thing again. You're allowed to attack with your unblockable creature and then ninja it in. That's nice.
The only thing is, they know.
Yeah, they know.
But it's still cool.
Sometimes they can't do anything about it,
Exactly.
That's when it's cool. But to look at a hand, what the?
I don't know, dude. So anyway.
2 and a blue, 1/2, ninjutsu, 1 and a blue. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may look at target player's hand and choose a card. That player discards that card and draws a card. Now that's a little unusual for how that card usually works. They usually put it on bottom, but this is cool. I like this effect. It's a Thoughtseize effect-ish, so you get to like actually interact with your opponent's hand with this.
You can do it to yourself too.
Yeah. I think this card's fine. I don't think it's good because of its size mostly.
Yeah.
But it does something.
I didn't want to make it bigger though because
it does something good.
Yep. All right, Wandering Ones. We've already seen this if you watched the last video. It was in the intro. It's blue for a 1/1 creature spirit.
It didn't do anything.
Yep, it was just a small spirit. I guess you could block with it, but it was really bad.
Spirit triggers, like you block with it and soul shift it. You like it.
But the game was slow enough. You probably didn't even want to play these ones. You just play something more expensive that did more.
Yep.
So instead, now
1 and a blue for a 1/1 after blue.
Nice.
1 and a blue for a 1/1 spirit. Whenever it enters the battlefield, draw a card. We like this. We like this with sweep. We like this with moonfolk. We like this
With
we
ninjutsu.
Like
It's
this.
we love this. It works so much better. I did all of the every single vanilla card and I think all the French vanilla cards turned into enters the battlefield effects, so they would work with all of our return stuff.
I like it. Good card.
Yep. All right, that's all the blue. So we're gonna take a break. We're gonna get some food. And do you want to continue after the food?
So we started this at what time do you think? 6?
We've been doing this for almost 3 hours.
Yeah, that's so rough, man.
It wasn't that bad last time either. White was like easier to get through or something.
I don't know. It took us
4 hours to get through
4 hours
everything.
to get through
The
White and the intro. The intro may have only been an hour, Johnny.
I think we were just slow. Alrighty. So, how do you feel?
I don't know, man. I want to do more.